Gringos Locos is what I am going to eat today when I go see the Orlando Solar Bears.
Yep, there's 2 Gringos locations in the Amway, and it's delicious.
It seems like a lot of people from around surrounding areas of Orlando have been coming to town to Christmas shop. And then like zipping through Gringos. I've been seeing a lot of that.
Yeah.
It is the ultimate Christmas shopping food with the wife.
Yeah.
Kids are with grandma or doing whatever. You got to pick up those last minute items. You're both shopping. You go your separate ways, but you reconvene for delicious Double D's, Valentina hot sauce, and a side of queso.
Yep, or that mouth hugger burrito, or that dang quesadilla.
Yeah, buddy.
There's multiple Gringos locations. The original in downtown Orlando, if you're there. The Milk District location. There's a location on Michigan Avenue.
Yeah. And I don't want to speak out of turn, but if you haven't gotten your catering order in at Gringos Catering,
there's still time.
I think there's still time, but man, I'd get on it today.
Yeah, and you get 10% off if you mention you're a Tom and Dan listener.
Indeed, and that's a lot when you're planning a party, man. 10%.
Oh, huge holiday party with some Double D bar. Do your employees a favor.
Make them happy. No more baked chicken, please. No more fish. No more scrod.
Yeah. Get some holiday tacos.
And you can't cook. I know you think you can, but you can't. You're not good. It all tastes like crap. Just go with the experts.
There's a Gringos location by UCF as well. You could find it all at gringoslocos.com. Welcome back to Corporate Time. So we've got some friends in studio. Spencer and Jeff are here from the Orlando Science Center.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Hello. How you doing?
Good.
So, of course, we're continuing to promote the VIP Planetarium Tour.
The VITP. VITP? What is that? That sounds naughty.
And it's a VIP tour for up to 10 people now through March. I know a bunch of BDMs have already gone, and they love it. It's a great Christmas gift, by the way, for anybody that loves space and you want to give a really cool, unique experience.
Super unique,
yeah. I feel like a grandparent giving this to his grandkids would be a cool gift for Christmas.
That's a good idea for me, for Andrea's granddad. He's like 98, 99.
Does he listen to this? Because that's not going to work.
Yeah, well, I mean, he does, but he's a big Florida guy, he's a big nature guy, and I don't think he's ever done that. So this is a good idea. I might have to see what I can do.
Yeah, so make sure to get your tickets. You can go to tomanddan.com. So Spencer, I saw a couple stories, and that's why we had you in today, because one of them being, and Daniel showed this to me, there's a billionaire, a Japanese billionaire that's privately funding a mission to the moon, and he, I guess he named his crew already.
Yeah, the Dear Moon crew. Japanese billionaire Yasaku Maezawa has picked his companions for his SpaceX first all-civilian mission to the moon.
And the funny part for us is one of them is Steve Aoki, and then we're like, Steve Aoki to the moon!
Yeah, there's that one actually made me laugh. You can see him, he's there to the right of, I guess, the billionaire.
So, and this kind of makes sense as, more and more, space is becoming more and more privatized, and this is kind of like For All Mankind, the kind of premise of that, the Apple TV series about, private companies versus government, and the space race, and how it could go in the future, and it's kind of happening before our eyes right now, where private companies are building rockets and SpaceX, and then if you have enough money, you could basically pay to do it. Now, getting to the moon, obviously, is super expensive and hard to do, but not that much of an accomplishment for humankind, because we already did that.
If you want to know more about this,
60 plus years ago.
Well, this particular project, it's called Dear Moon. It says this project was launched in 2018 after the billionaire purchased all seats of a 6-day trip to the moon from SpaceX. It will fly a single circumlunar trajectory around Earth's faithful companion, and it is expected to take place sometime next year. Though the actual date depends on the Starship's development, they're saying. So there you go.
So my question to you, Spencer...
I would never do this, by the way. I'm very scared of it. Like, extremely frightened.
Well, I mean, think about...
You didn't let me finish. I'm extremely frightened of Steve Aoki.
Okay.
Yeah. I have an intense fear.
He's got to throw one cake in space.
One space cake.
Space cake.
Yeah, space cake.
But some people may look at this story and be like, well, okay, well, we've already been to the moon. Why is this a big deal?
But this is a huge deal.
But I look at it as more of a great marketing experience for like space travel, and just like it's good for the marketing of us adventuring more into space. And I feel like this can only help
excitement,
people's excitement about space, and then would only help all of us, the whole globe, find out more about our universe. What do you think, Spencer?
I think, for sure, anyone going into space is a great idea. I think it's awesome, right? It's how we're going to progress faster. The Artemis missions are the ones that the NASA is and other international space companies are trying to get to the moon with right now. And Artemis is awesome, and it's got all kinds of really great scientific objectives.
Yeah.
But it's using outdated technology. The exciting thing about this is that they can use some of the SpaceX rockets, and it's not just SpaceX. Well, these guys are using SpaceX, but there's other companies out there, Boeing and I think, that are using reusable rockets, and that really is where the future of space travel is. The issue with Artemis is that they're locked to these single-use SLS systems right now. They cost $2 to $4 billion per launch instead of $100 million, right? And so it's just, we have like an awkward 5 to 10 years of space travel for NASA specifically right now for human space travel. So this really is their chance.
Why are they locked to that particular system?
The Congress and just how it's just the history of how it's been developed. This thing has been in research for decades at this point, and just like the way that the political structure works and feeds into NASA, it's just how it has to be for it to get off the ground, literally. A lot of NASA scientists, I'm sure, are looking at the reusable rockets and they're like, yeah, we wish we could do that now. And they're probably going to be investing into that in the future. But we've already spent so much money and time on this SLS that we have to kind of use it.
So it is like, for those of you who haven't watched For All Mankind, I'm sure they had inside information about like, all right, this is it's already happening now, but this, like, they probably know what's happening as we go forward. And they're seeing this like, all right, the government is trying to get to the moon. Now we've got this Japanese billionaire, SpaceX, and other like privatized groups trying to get there, and they have more money and more technology than the government does, and the government has this tried and true systems,
and all the checks and balances and getting
the politics
approved,
behind it, and then the private companies have unlimited money, but they have like the eccentric owner. It's kind of like they've portrayed what's actually happening in real life, which is super interesting. But it is true, like the government is kind of handcuffed by the fact that they're funding all this with tax dollars, so there's politics involved, and things are slow to move. And then with the billionaires, they could just buy anything they want, the best technology, whatever they could buy, right?
I think it's interesting what you said, because you mentioned that the government has both more money and more red tape or yellow tape to get through.
Orange tape.
Or rather, you said the private people have more money, but it is that government specifically that does have more money in this case. We've spent like $50 billion on the Artemis missions. This Japanese billionaire is not a 50 billionaire. He's not spending $50 billion on this project. Elon is, I'm sure 10 billion, something ridiculous. But his SpaceX is a fraction of that wealth, right? And so the government is spending much, much more money. It's just that they have to go through those hoops to get stuff done, whereas private companies are more flexible, like you're saying.
Yeah, which is interesting because it's like, all right, the government has spending more money, has technically more money. We're going to print our own money.
Yeah.
But because of the red tape and politics and the things have to get voted on and stuff, they, they're slower and they are technically, it's more expensive for them, which is less efficient. And, it's playing out like the damn show, which is pretty interesting. But regardless, all of this will help us, like, be more interested in doing more things like this and, like, eventually getting to Mars and stuff. But then, and Spencer, this is kind of what I wanted to go to, is, like, you start looking at, like, all right, what's beyond all of this? And, like, even if we pulled together all of Earth's resources to build a mega telescope or something, because I'm thinking, like, what is our potential? potential. And then if you start looking, I've read some stuff where even if we use, like, all of Earth got together and used all of our resources to build something, it would be like we wouldn't be able to see 1/10 of, we're so far behind technologically that it's kind of like, I always look at it like, oh, well, even if we tried our hardest and pulled together all of Earth's resources.
Is this a my vote doesn't count?
Well, we couldn't even get out of the Milky Way. You know what I'm saying?
Is this a why bother? Is that what you're saying?
And then even if we could, it would be...
It sounds like you're saying why bother.
It would be, hundreds of years before we could even get to the closest. And then you look at this and it's like, oh, man, but it shouldn't stop us from wanting to continue to progress, right, Spencer?
It depends on what you're trying to get out of space travel. Personally, as just a giant space nerd who likes to watch YouTube, I'm looking to get science out of it personally. I'm not going to live to see interstellar travel. Like, sure, I want that to happen for humanity or whatever, but I want to know, like, was there life on Mars? What's going on with Titan, this really cool moon out there? And my fear with private space travel is that they're not going to care about any of that. They want to make more money. That's the point of getting up into outer space. They want to make this moon trip a money-making revenue source. They want to add it for tourism. They want to mine asteroids and stuff like that. Now, that technology that they developed to get that stuff done will help us progress science further, but I'm looking to, like, learn stuff about the universe, right? And that's really what I'm personally passionate about. But if you're passionate about just exploring as far as possible, as fast as possible, for sure, privateering is the way to do that.
So Spencer, I'm glad you brought up, like, asteroids, and, like, I know a while back we did some sort of mission where we sent a satellite into an asteroid and
to try the deflection mission.
And crashed a satellite into an asteroid to, I guess, test if this was possible.
I've always wanted to do that. And it was weird too because they put Bruce Willis on it and fired it. Now that he's, like, retired from acting because he has some sort of condition.
Do you know about that whole mission, Spencer?
DART.
Yeah,
it's really cool. It's basically our first attempt at, a sci-fi story of protecting us from asteroids. There's a couple of different things you can do to protect from an asteroid. This is just the most basic one, which is shoot it with a missile, pretty much.
It's the coolest one,
right?
It is the most American for sure.
We love projectiles.
There's other cool ones though. You can like put something in orbit around an asteroid that, like, pulls it with gravity.
That's cooler.
Then you don't have to blow it up.
And that's even cooler.
I think it's cooler.
Because it's
like when you're choosing to play a video game and you can either run in and shoot everybody, or you can use some stealth.
Yeah, now you're talking
and you can sneak around. Yeah, that's exactly what you're talking about, right? And I'm with Spencer. I think, like, not blowing it up is cooler, but is it, like, more risky?
That's what we're testing. That's why we just started with the easy one of throwing a missile at it, right?
And this one wasn't going to anywhere come near us. They're just like, let's just try and move this thing.
Well, because the theory being that all you have to do is move it just a little bit, and if it's far enough away that it'll miss Earth, because just that little bit of movement will 1,000 times more as it gets closer, and then miss.
Just like pomade cream. Just a tiny bit. Just a fingernail.
Yeah.
And
anything more than that, and you got greasy hair.
And then in other news, I saw that the James Webb Telescope, and I was going to ask you about this, they have basically witnessed some of the oldest galaxies closest to the Big Bang. Like, the galaxies are like 400 million years old. Like, we're talking
400
million from the Big Bang, as far as, like,
excuse me, Spencer, Tom is talking.
Sorry, my bad.
14.
Pardon me, sir.
Old from the Big. So 14.2
Why don't you
billion.
Let Spencer tell
all right. I really want to tell Spencer what I've learned on the internet.
He already knows.
Just from reading I've only read the.
I'm looking at Spencer. I feel confident he likes you already. I don't think you need to impress him.
I have to impress him.
No.
With misinformation.
I only read the title to some story, and then I was
the
like,
headline. I got it.
I get the gist.
He's a headline scientist.
Oh my God! Write that down. That's great.
Most people are.
Science. Yeah, most people are headline scientists. So let's go to Spencer, somebody who actually went past the headline. So what are we talking about here?
Yeah, because when I saw James Webb, I'm like, James Webb. what about Hubble? I thought Hubble was the best.
It's like Pluto being no longer a planet. No one cares anymore.
Okay.
Pluto sucks.
Not even a thing.
Hubble sucks. No, I'm kidding. Both of those things are awesome. But yeah, Webb is. I mean, it's amazing. What you're saying is true. It's 400 million years. See, you might even have the better headline source than I do. I would have assumed that we have earlier galaxies than even that at this point. But I'm
probably wrong, Spencer. Let's just bet. I'm at 92%. I said the wrong
number. We're thinking of changing the name of the show to "We're Probably Wrong" with Tom and Dan, which is actually really good name for a show.
Honestly, yeah, we could be brand.
We're probably wrong.
The big deal here is that we have always known those galaxies are there. We can literally we just cannot see them with Hubble. Hubble does not have the right mirror size and the right kind of vision.
Hubble.
I know. It doesn't see it. I mean, we didn't even know they were there before that. I think I talked about this last time I was here, but the Hubble introduced us to a whole new concept of our universe, right? We didn't know that there were millions or billions of galaxies out there. Hubble taught us that. But ever since then, we've been like, okay, we can see this far, and then there's like a billion years of history we can't see, and then we see the cosmic microwave background that is the afterglow of our Big Bang, and we just didn't see that inner bit there. It was annoying. So yeah, they built the Webb telescope specifically to see the things you're talking about. It does a bunch of other cool stuff too, but the reason we built the darn thing was to get that infrared vision that allows us to see this incredibly red-shifted galaxy that you're talking about.
That's so cool.
And it's like the galaxy, it's not just that it's far away, it's that as the light was traveling to us, space is expanding. So the light is getting pulled a little bit. Like the wavelength of the light is getting stretched out. It's becoming redder.
Yes.
Red shifting. And so even if the light had time to reach us, which it has at this point, it's just that the Hubble can't see it. It doesn't detect like wavelengths that are that stretched out, that infrared wavelength. It just detects more visible light. So the Hubble or the Webb telescope sees like a whole new kind of astronomy, which is awesome, which is infrared astronomy.
So, Spencer, I'm curious to what your favorite theory is about the universe. I could have gone
anywhere unless you got scared.
It's the most interesting to you because, I think the new thing, you see people on TikTok talk about theories that are out there, and one theory being that our universe is just one universe with there's an infinite amount of universes beyond our universe, and our Big Bang and the reality we live in is just part of an infinite structure of universes. It's kind of like a multiverse. You start thinking to the point where I'm like, I can't even comprehend it. It's just now I can't even comprehend the size of our.
About earlier, where I go nope, we're it. We're the only universe. It has to be that way because it's just easier to think that way.
Yeah, and then because then you start saying there's an infinite amount of other universes. It kind of is a bummer a little bit, where it's like, well,
you know why? Because that means there's an endless supply of island boys somewhere. There's other other island boys.
You see, people talking on TikTok and are like, oh, with that theory, there's someone, another you out there doing the exact same thing that you're doing. I told my wife this. She's like, that can't be. That's not real. I'm like, the theory being that if it's infinite, then mathematically there is another one of you out there in another universe saying the exact same things. And then
can they hear me right now?
There's
That's deja vu, right?
But then when you get into that big of a theory, or it's almost like it's not interesting to me because it's so big and so infinite that it's like, well, now it takes what our universe and it doesn't make it special anymore, and we don't even know what's in our universe.
So big it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and our universe is so big it doesn't even matter. Which is like now you're adding an infinite more, and then I'm like, I don't like that one. So what's your favorite?
I do agree that I think personally that's what's happening. I think there's a multiverse, and there's 3 points of what you just said here.
Multiverse. I'm Iron Man.
not that level of multiverse. That would be really cool though.
No, you look like Iron Man.
Snap your fingers.
You look like Iron Man.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm lucky to have that much money too.
You're going to train someone just to swirl their arm and then or their finger, and then it creates a hole. But I feel like if you could train,
you have to do a hand, like a finger thing.
Yeah,
too.
The
come on, it's not just a swirl.
Finger thing,
but you got to do the finger thing.
I feel like you need some magic for that. You can't just train someone to do that. If then you train anybody to do it, it's not special. You have to be born the chosen one to be able to do it. Anyway, sorry, Spencer.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that stuff is real, but the multiverse, I'm quite sure is real. Anyway. there's a couple of things. One, I think you have to push through the existentialism, because I've been there where you are at the first level. I call it the first level of existentialism, where you realize...
Oh, going clear. Are we going clear? This is the first level.
Where's my rods?
I need to hold the rods.
The universe is it's just too darn big. We're too darn meaningless. Like, I think that you're emphasizing how there being an infinite number of universes makes our existence less significant. I don't think you're comprehending just the size of our universe. I mean, the number billion is absurd, and there are billions of galaxies and billions of stars and all the billions of things. That, like, our Earth doesn't matter. Regardless of if there's a million trillion universes, our Earth is completely insignificant. So that's like level 1, where it just kind of stinks. But if you push through that, right, you go to the tier 2 existentialism, you embrace it. You're like, actually, it's kind of cool, because nothing I do ultimately matters. All I have to do is just try and do as much good as possible for my life, and then I'm going to end, and then the Earth is going to go away, and all the people will be gone, and nothing matters ultimately.
Everything
Yes, that's what Tom's always said.
You just
Nothing
got to
matters.
push through it.
But you're step
And
one
then it
and
becomes
step 2. I
cool.
feel nauseous thinking about it now.
Right,
Like,
you just
that's
gotta
how emotional I am.
Stare at a galaxy for like an hour every night. Give me like 3 months of that. You'll
Okay.
push through it, and then that's going to be cool again.
I'm trying,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that first, he got through the first one. He's talking about we're a tiny little planet,
Yeah,
and
we're
we
just
don't.
a speck of
And I'm
dust.
like, oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
god, I
yeah,
feel like I'm in a barf. And then
The
he's like,
chat wants the universe with 2 Toms to try to interview each other.
oh man,
Infinite,
I know,
infinite
cool.
time
There'd
loop.
be no answers, just questions.
Well, wait a minute. It would be one Tom asking a never-ending question, and another Tom actively like just nodding his head. I feel like the entire time.
I like the
Perpetual motion.
Neil deGrasse Tyson when you weave in like some sort of like emotional poetry into like the fact that we're all stardust, and like that's true. It's like, all the elements were
That's not
forged
true. I'm not starting.
were forged
You're the
in
only
How dare
one.
you? I'm not even close to starting.
in stars that exploded out, and like that happened so many different times, and like that's
Wait a minute.
what
If
we're
I'm
made of.
Stardust, you're Gold-Dust.
Oh, man.
And Gold-Dust was the brother, the Dustin, the bigger, fatter one.
And then in a long enough timeline, it's just so insane we can't even comprehend. And then I started thinking about we can't even understand the difference between a million and a billion. Like when you start, because you start looking at like we were like, oh, million and a billion, I understand. And you're like, no,
No, you
that
really
number.
don't.
That number
Yeah.
is so far from each
Right.
other that it's way bigger than you think. And
Yeah.
and then you go into
You
a
do a
trillion.
weird micro calculation of what you think it is, but you really don't have a true.
You're like,
I see what you're
I know what $1 and $100. They're like, no. Like this is, and then when the people explain like the difference between a million and a billion, you're like, oh wow, that's bigger than I thought. And then you start going into how many planets and stars there are, and then it's like, man, it's
You
hard.
scare the entire chat room scared right now. Everybody's like, oh my god, I'm insignificant.
much for a Monday.
Yeah, it's a heavy ass Universe Monday.
But that makes me and Spencer. See, this is why we're friends.
the two of us.
It's all back to
I
you
don't
and
think Spencer
Spencer
claimed you were friends.
Yeah, he
I think he
never
does.
said
I think he
that.
does.
No,
He tells his friends.
I can see it.
He's like, I know Tom Van.
I don't think Spencer tells his friends about you.
No,
I
no.
think he told one friend.
Spencer
I said
Don't
I
lie.
met this guy once.
That is some Christmas party.
You can't count Jeff. That's not fair.
Hold on. Spencer, you
I
were.
am not insignificant.
No, you're absolutely not. But you can't. Jeff's in on it.
Hold on, Spencer.
It has to be a stranger.
Right.
I'm sure you're at some Orlando Science Center Christmas party, and
Yeah.
then you were talking to other smart people, and
so
then
many of them.
And then you're like, that Tom Van from the podcast, he's not that dumb as everybody
Oh,
thinks.
that's what Spencer said.
Yeah,
Spencer said he's not that dumb.
He's not that dumb.
That may have happened. That may have happened.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
yeah. He reads the headlines and he tells me.
He's a headline scientist.
But he can't read, so it's weird.
Yeah. You mentioned that Neil deGrasse Tyson makes everything poetic, which I think is awesome, because I just kind of do the opposite and I just say nothing matters. So it's like I'm the opposite of Neil deGrasse Tyson in that way. But if you really want to get like poetically nothing matters with it, you mentioned how there is another Tom out there that could interview each other, but the reality is there's not just one. There's an infinite number of exactly the same Toms.
Oh, God.
And then
An
there's
army. Oh my god, an army.
My
and
worst
then there's
nightmare.
a bunch of them that are the same, but they have, I don't know, lighter hair. And then there's a bunch of them that just do something slightly different in their lives. And
Oh, they're more successful.
there are exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and the same for me, right?
No, you're the only one.
Yeah, I knew it.
Well,
physically.
and
I knew it.
I promise the last question, but going with that theory, it's kind of like if you beyond the universe and the infinite universe theory, there's that theory when it comes to planets in our own universe, where it's like, all right, and we've talked about this before, but like life on other planets and stuff. And by the way, I'm curious to like when they eventually, and I'm sure they will, like drill far enough into Mars and then get into some ice down there and find some microbe that proof of some living organism. Do you think it's going to be spun into some? I'm sure it is for the first part of like some political thing where everybody's arguing whether it's real or not. I mean,
most things spiral into some sort of argument anyway.
Well,
right?
conspiracy and stuff. Like, I feel like we got to some point where even if they did find that and then they brought it back, there will be people that will be like, "This is fake." There's no way.
There's plenty that don't believe in the moon landing. You're going to add alien life to that. I think it's going to be a struggle. Yeah.
And then when they like these private tours go to the moon, and do you think they'll be able to get out, walk around? Like, we'll have full HD camera footage of everything. We'll have.
Steve Aoki will be able to get out and walk around on the moon? Nobody else thinks that's weird.
It's weird.
Nobody else thinks it's weird that Steve Aoki will get out.
He's studying to be like an astronaut.
No, he's on the crew.
I don't think you need to be.
No, they're just going to suit him up and stick him out there.
Just throwing people out in space.
And it's just like going on. It's just like going on any excursion in the Bahamas. You just hold the rope and ride your donkey.
It's just like for all mankind. Like they don't need a pilot anymore. This is not the 1960s.
Right,
it's like you need some GI Joe. Like, land this.
Yeah, we need a grunt to fly us in.
Computers will do it. They'll land you on the moon. You get out. Aoki will walk around.
Yeah.
But
he'll throw a cake.
Can you broadcast live, or are there still like a massive, hours delay?
The moon's fine. The moon's great. It's a few seconds, so you're totally fine. And the really exciting thing about Artemis is that they are going to bring super HD cameras with them, right? We're not looking at that like grainy, barely visible footage from the 69, 70s. We're going to have these incredible cameras. I mean, they're going to put down like VR cameras on the moon too and on Mars, and I think that's the really exciting stuff because you get to step into VR and exploit.
Not Tom, he doesn't have his password.
Man, I do that sometimes just to screw with myself because I suffer from crippling anxiety, Spencer.
Sure. I did this too, and
I
it
put on my VR, and then I go into the space station thing.
You go and sit Indian style on the moon like Dr. Manhattan?
I go and I hit the button, and you can go, and you'll be on the satellite, and you're out like standing on the satellite, and you feel like your body is just hanging out over space.
Yeah,
it's terrifying.
And it makes you it instantly makes me nauseous. I'm just like, all right, back out of that. That's crazy. It's so cool though. It's like addicting to do. You jump in, jump out, jump in. It's crazy the amount of depth.
It's worth vomiting.
And it's only going to get better. Like that's like not even good footage. That's like crap footage. I can't wait to see what they do with the new stuff.
Speaking of satellites, have you seen like the Facebook or the video that's floating around about how much junk is flying around our Earth?
It made me sad. We've junked up space.
There's so many satellites flying around Earth that I knew there was a lot, but it was like, whoa, look at this. I mean, but apparently...
I think we should start fighting them like battle bots in the sky.
They crash
into each other. That's one way to get rid of them, yeah.
We should like harness them somehow and then shoot them at each other. And
see, that's privatizing it too, because right now we're dealing with that concept of space junk where maybe it'll create this like shell of debris where we can't even leave the planet. It's like a whole concern
that's
right
like
now.
WALL-E?
Full on.
Break through the shell of garbage.
It is a problem. But if we privatize it and we turn it into battle bots, we'll get rid of all the satellites, right? Because then we fund it. We give $1 million for a season winner or something. Look it up there. We'll take care of the problem.
Or maybe we do like what people do when a boat gets left in a canal and it's expensive. You gotta like, we're space junk haulers. And you fly up there and you gotta break this thing up and drag it back down to Earth somehow. Or maybe it's not even a manned mission, right? You're just using your man-made space rocket to fly up and break up the junk or fly back down. Something like that. Then you scrap it. You're taking all the copper out of it to get pain pills.
I'm whistling, and is there an arrow flying around?
Right, exactly. That's probably not even... That's probably actually going to happen. Maybe not the whistling arrow thing, but, I mean... It's just some guy's going to get up there with his own rocket because they're not going to be that expensive in 100 years, and they'll go up there. They'll make a TV show out of space junkers.
Oh, that's what this guy's doing, too. I guess this billionaire, he he hired a guy that does like this YouTube channel called Everyday Astronaut. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but he's one of the guys on the crew. So
that's so exciting.
Like he's kind of like layered it with people that already have like some sort of like they're kind of into it. So I'm guessing Aoki already is into this, and he's like a bit of a moon man himself. So.
I imagine I'm going to be watching this. I mean, how are you?
Yeah,
not?
I would watch the hell out of it. Right?
The whole world will be watching people walk on the moon, mess around, like just start messing around, going to the moon, like, and then there'll be people going to the moon. I bet often. Right?
I really like Spencer's idea for space pickers. Somebody said space junkers in the chat room, but space pickers is better.
Yeah,
and you bring back those two guys, the skinny guy and the fatter guy. You bring them back. Like I think one of them passed away. I think the little guy died.
So, Spencer, thanks so much for coming in, and we appreciate it.
Anytime.
And if you may be lucky enough to get Spencer on your private VIP.
It happened to some guy just the last time, or on Saturday when I was there. Yeah, they definitely listened to this program. And
that's cool.
Oh, cool, awesome. Yeah,
cool.
Because someone from Orlando Science Center will be with you during your tour to explain everything and answer all your questions.
It's cool. You get to go in little areas that normally people don't traverse. So.
It's very private, and there's a few people, so you have like multiple space nerd perspectives. Like it might be me, it might be other people, but like if you want this level of conversation, you just want to nerd out about space. That's where you do it.
My wife was out in our cul-de-sac with her telescope watching Mars go behind the moon this week.
God, it was so good.
and she was out there.
I was impressed with her telescope. It actually looked pretty decent, man. I mean, it doesn't look like what you're going to look at the Science Center, but it's pretty good.
We bought ours on Alibaba.
Yeah, it's not bad. I was impressed.
That's where we bought ours as well.
From what he had, though, I was like super impressed. Like, not bad.
It's
not
a clear Baba.
It's a good. It was a very clear Baba.
But like Mars, actually, it was the first time, or it won't happen again for another like 4 to 5 years or something like that. And you
telling Spencer? Passing that nugget on to Spencer so he can.
I had never heard of Mars, so this is actually fascinating to me.
Tell him more about Mars.
Mars?
Yeah, it's awesome.
We were looking at it in the Alibaba telescope, and when you look at Mars, you forget how fast we're moving because it was like, you were having to follow it, and you were like, wait a minute, I'm looking at it, it's still.
And you will learn all about that when you go because they 100%. Tell you all about the software and the different ways that it has to like counter. It has to counter that movement, right? Because you're ripping through the sky. And then when I thought about that, standing inside the dome, I started to get nauseous again because I'm a little baby. I'm like, we are ripping through the sky right now.
And again, they only do this Friday and Saturdays, so it's limited and it goes until March. So get your tickets now.
Yes, sir.
TomandDan.com, and you can click on the Orlando Science Center VIP Planetarium Tour link. Spencer, Jeff, thanks so much for coming. We appreciate it.
Seeing you guys.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk to you again next year. Have a good holiday. All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. So a listener of ours set this up, and we're going to talk about an organization that I don't know much about. I kind of know the gist of what they do.
We're like gist guys. We know the gist of about everything, but we're not details guys. We're gist guys.
So Brian is on Zoom, and he is from Big Brother, Big Sister
of Central Florida.
Yep. How you doing?
I thought you meant Big Brother, the TV show, the backstabbing, horrible TV show.
Definitely don't want me from that one.
No.
How you doing, Brian?
Excellent. Yourselves, guys.
Good,
man. Thank you for the time.
So tell us about Big Brother, Big Sister of Central Florida, and give us the gist about what it is.
Yeah, so Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Central Florida. We've been in the Central Florida area since 1947. We cover 5 counties here in the areas. We do Brevard, Osceola, Lake, Seminole, and Orange County. We've got over 300 kids in our program.
Wow.
And what we do is we take youth in our communities and pair them with a good mentor in our community. So 87% of our kids come from a single parent, single guardian home. I myself used to be one of these kids. So it's either a grandmother or a mom. Occasionally it's a single dad trying to raise their kid. And we match them together. So,
I was giving some extra love to the single dad. Sorry, Tom. And God bless the grandmas, right? Grandmas do a lot.
Oh,
and they're so tired all the way they shuffle, and they're so tired, the grandmas.
Yeah. Although with the grandma, I feel like they're a little bit responsible for the situation they're in just because it was your kid that caused the situation.
You should have done a better job, Grandma.
That has to do a little bit with the situation that you're in now, right? Maybe just
She's
I'm
not
joking.
totally free from blame. It's all your fault, Greg.
No, you're good. Like for me, my grandmother raised me until I was about 9, 10 years old. So I actually can relate perfectly to these grandmothers and the unique situations that sometimes they're put in. With those 87% kids, a lot of them have parents that are incarcerated. So we work with a lot of children whose parents are in jail, made bad decisions. So what we're trying to do is get those kids a positive influence in their lives, so they don't end up like their mom or dad, who potentially may be in jail some way. So
you know who does
we're trying
this?
to break that loop.
You know who I think does this? I may be wrong, but I think Bustecker does this, and he's perfect, right? Because he's like the nicest and best human being I know. He's like really good.
So
like,
boring.
He's virtuous. He's got a beautiful wife. He's smart. He's kind. He works with the police, and I think he has.
That's the only bad
I think he has done that. That is the bad one. I think he's done this before. Like I think he's done.
You're right.
So
I've always wanted to do it, but the problem that I have is honestly is just time. No time.
Yeah, and too selfish.
A little selfish, yeah. A little too selfish with my time. That's why I don't have
you
any
want to
time.
give it away.
Yeah. Chili pepper.
Yeah, so I'm happy you bring up the time thing, man. It's like 4 to 6 hours a month. We match you with a kid that's pretty similar to yourself. So it's less of a chore to hang out with. It's more like hanging out with like a mini clone of yourself is what I always.
I would love to do this, but I can tell you right now who also would love to do it, but would have to really nut up before he got to the meeting would be you. I can't see you. I feel like you'd have to go in and give yourself a chat in the mirror before you go and hang with the kid for a couple hours at the library or something, right?
Hold on. I love telling people about business and how to make money, or like
I don't think that's what he needs.
Or like
that is what you need.
How
you need rambling old men. Oh, you came to the right place.
But no kids like or at least my kids. They're
like, God, shut up.
They literally, I see them fly away in their eyes.
Yeah.
I see their brain fly away while I'm looking at them. I'm like, you're not listening to
in the sky. They're all reading rainbow, flying all around.
And so then, based on my own kids, I can imagine that no kid wants to listen to me tell them anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You're not fun. Like, you are fun with kids, but I'm just saying, getting past the formality of meeting the child for the first time, that's going to be what's weird for you. You're a very fun dad. You're the most fun dad I know. Always
it's terrifying.
Always in the pool.
Yeah, but that's not what they need. They need a mentor to tell them about life.
That's me. That's where I come in.
You need a mentor, though, so you can't be one.
Wait, I can be your big brother. I can be your big brother.
Wait, is there an age limit on when we can have a big brother or big sister?
A good question, Sam.
So up to 16 is the oldest kid will match, because typically by that point they age out of high school. The youngest is about 6 years old. But you know what? At we do a lot of events with just our bigs, so they can get to know each other and bounce ideas off each other. One of the nights we actually had at a la carte over.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, yeah, it's one of our sponsors.
Yeah, it's a great place. They did a movie night sponsored with us, and we watched the movie Role Models.
It's awesome.
It's a lighthearted. They make fun of Big Brothers Big Sisters the entire time, but it really shows how that relationship can. You may not think you may be a good mentor for a kid,
sure,
but in actuality, you're exactly what that kid needs,
right?
And you both grow from it.
Also, having a sense of humor, and kudos to you guys for having a sense of humor about it, because no one's perfect. Jokes to me are healing. Jokes, I mean, like, help, and going into those type of things, like, and not showing that movie or not being able to poke fun at something, I don't think ever helps. It normalizes it, makes it a little more fun.
So, Brian, have you ever had someone who came to you wanting to be a big brother
and got declined?
And then, because I imagine, there are some people that you would probably look at and you're like, well, you don't even have it together, so how are you going to teach someone?
I think he's doing that right now.
Well, I'm just saying, let's say Mike B comes. What's
the background check?
And you're like, you can't be a big brother with that nose ring.
Are you crazy?
No, but you don't want to. You're going to teach the kids
to have nose rings.
You need to get your ass together, Mike B.
Shave your mustache. Take out your nose ring.
So how does that work? Do you have to have some certain accomplishment in life, or be in some sort of societal status to even
Do you make people send in a photo? Send a photo.
So we do a very extensive background check. We ask for 3 people you work with. We ask for a number of people from your personal life. Then we also do.
I don't even have 3 people I know.
Exactly. So we actually turn away more people than we accept. So right now we're doing the 100 men in 100 days. We're trying to get as many male mentors. We have a huge waiting list of young boys, and it's because either what Dan said earlier about, men, especially 20 to 35, 40, don't really think that they'd be a good influence on a child when they actually would be. And then on the flip side is there's sometimes people who are really confident and think they would be a good influence on them actually have a really bad background, and we actually reject them pretty regularly. So a very extensive background check for everyone involved. And then we actually do monthly checkups on the little. We call that the little directly. We call the big, and then we also call the whoever the guardian or parent may be for the child. So we check in monthly. We do all this. The safety of the child is absolute paramount over anything else.
Jim Phillips did this too. Somebody in the chat room reminded me that Jim Phillips was a big brother. I forgot about that. See, he would be an awesome big brother. He's got the tractors. He does the woodworking. He's always got some new hobby. He's training crows with a crow whistle. He's got a whip.
And no offense to Jim Phillips.
What are you going to show this kid? You're going to get out there on your one wheel and do a couple 360s?
Jim Phillips is more like a big grandpa. Like I said, no offense to him, but what I'm saying,
I'm going to tell him you said that. And he'll never see it because he doesn't text because he's a big grandpa. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Oh my God, he's going to text me.
He damn sure doesn't listen to the show.
No, past his bedtime. I can't stop. I can't stop. Take that!
Doesn't know that song?
Take that!
Big grandpa. Because
nobody's a legend.
I feel like you should be in the age range that you could actually be a big brother. Like if you're too old.
You're looking at me now.
No. I'm just saying that
too old to brother.
Like if you're 8 years old, say you're my son Tommy's
age. You guys should
get
Hulk Hogan. Oh my God, that's the inception of Big Brothers, brother.
Like I feel like if he had a big brother my age, or they'd be like, well, my dad's your age, so it's not really realistic. Like you need a big brother that's like in his late 20s, right, or something like that, or mid 20s, something where it's like.
What do you call the girls? Are they big mamas?
The big sisters.
Oh, okay.
Big sisters.
Oh, sorry.
I will say
I wanted Sam to be a big mama.
Don't put that on me.
Our
wife's
age
a
range,
big
of most successful bigs are like 20 to I'd say about early 30s, right around when everyone starts having their first kids, and then they kind of go away from the program, and then later in life when they have all the kids leave the house, all the empty nesters, they're also actually our next big most successful bigs and in the program, because I've raised all these kids that are in their 20s and 30s now. I'm bored. I have all this free time. And they become bigs. So we have this really weird gap where we have all these volunteers up until about 32, 33, and then it jumps all the way to about late 50s. And it's
I'm almost there.
Typically, in that middle range, they're raising their own children, and then they come back to our program later. So we have a lot of volunteers who are like, "Oh yeah, I did that in college for 3 or 4 years," or "Oh yeah, right when I graduated college, I did that for 2 years, 3 years," and later in life they come back to us, which is fantastic.
I've always admired people, and I meet with a lot of successful people, more successful than you and I.
Yeah.
And we meet with a lot of most people we meet are more successful than us. And I'll meet with them, and then I've always wanted to be the type of person like these people. Now, follow me here.
Yep.
They'll be sitting on the couch, and they'll be doing an interview with us, and they'll be on our show, and then they'll get done, and I'll be like, "Hey, you want to hang up for another segment?" They'll be, sorry, can't do it. Got lunch with my big brother, or with my little brother. I do, I volunteer, I do, and I'm not I want to add it to my calendar just so people hear me say it.
Yeah, because you're a better person if you've taken on a little brother or little sister, you are a better person than the rest of us.
You are.
Yeah.
It is a huge responsibility. So the kids that I last mentored, they're seniors at Rollins College now.
Whoa, smarty pantses.
I was paired with them when they were 13. So I'm a volunteer with the organization.
Nice.
I don't work for Big Brothers Big Sisters.
You just been doing it. You got the bug and you like it.
Yeah, I'm the chairman for the organization, so
That's awesome.
I do all that fun board of director stuff. But those kids, though, they lost their birth mother when they were 14, 15 years old. So I was there at the funeral with them. It was around the same time I lost the person who raised me. So I was able to relate to them. They were adopted. I was adopted. So again, we pair you with a kid that's really close to you. But yeah, it's a huge responsibility to that kid because our average match is about 3.5, 4 years, and you see that kid go through a lot. I taught him how to drive. I took him to prom. I was there
That's awesome.
for the funeral. It is like having a legitimate little brother in the program. Yeah. So
that's amazing,
Brian. Are there rules for big brothers and big sisters as far as like you can't
feed them after midnight?
So you can't
no water.
Because what I like to do with my own sons.
Don't get into that. That's no.
I just like to buy their love with toys. And then so if I need to make them happy, I give them toys.
Ice cream every afternoon. I found out they get ice cream every afternoon.
It's basically bribery. Bribery works.
It's like living at the Wonka house.
If you give people ice cream and toys, they'll love you. they'll love you more.
Not girls.
They pretend to.
And
I try that now with girls. It doesn't work.
And if you are the rules setter, and then and make them follow the rules, like my wife does,
I'm the mean guy.
You're the ruiner.
Yeah.
And so now my sons, they look at me like I'm the fun daddy, and my wife's the ruiner, and that's burned into their brain.
Fun daddy versus ruiner
until I'm dead, and then I'll always be fun daddy. So what I'm saying is, do you set like rules where like you're not allowed to buy your little brother, little sister like
what if I were rich and
toys?
I want to get them a Lamborghini?
Yeah,
there are rules on how much money you can spend. Financial obligation. If you go out for an activity, we're not expecting the big to pay for everything. The little's family is supposed to chip in and
cough up some money, little. We're going to Topgolf. This is expensive. We're at Drive Shack. I'm not paying for all the pizza.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not a full financial obligation to the big, if they're right out of college, things like that. But, I did look at it as a treat for the kid to be out away from, whatever situation they may have back at home.
Sure.
So a big thing that we would go is we go to the comic book shop. And
that's a good one.
The kids I was with, they hated reading, so I would get them a comic, and we would sit down and at the comic shop over near Full Sail, or we would go over to Blackbird, something like that, and sit down and read. All the comic shops in town do a great job of letting the Big Brothers Big Sisters program do like D&D sessions and things like that. That's cool. So we do things like that where it's more of a reward. I try to remember that the situation the kid's in is not the greatest. So it is almost kind of like a treat for the kid to go out, and you're not expected to get something from every time you go out. But most of our bigs are getting coffee or ice cream or something like that, where it's $2 or $3. And we have actually a program with a lot of local businesses where if you tell them you're a big brother and you're with your little sister or big little brother, there's a discount. So the big pays in full. And
now I knew about the discount because Tom has been taking me around for years and telling people that I'm his little brother, and we do it at 2J's, we do it at
15% off.
We do it at Kobe's.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, we do it at Kobe's. No, I'm kidding. We don't do that.
So now, is there a reason why it's only 6 hours a month? Can the big brothers or big sisters do more, or is it like a mandatory 6 hours, but you could always do more? How does that work?
So I'm going to call Dan out on his I'm too busy to do this thing.
Sure.
So
yeah, please.
I was head of engineering for the Orlando Magic and Solar Bears, and I ran all of the events at Amway for 8 years while still being a big brother. So basically what I would do is I'd communicate my schedule with the family and go, hey, I have 3 weeks of home games. This month I can't hang out with you. But next month we'll do 12 hours. Gotcha. So we would fluctuate based off my personal schedule, and they get it. And I'm about to go into with my current job. I'm about to start doing overnights. I can't do this week because of this, but next week we can do 6 hours in one day, that kind of thing. So you just kind of work it out based off your schedule. We also have an in-school program where you actually go to the kids' school and you don't see them outside of it, and you're with them for about an hour a week. And we have groups that do that.
Like 21 Jump Street, I want to do that.
Yeah,
I can dress cool and I'm walking the halls, and kids are like, look at that fat.
You normally fit in pretty well, Dan.
Yeah, they're like, look at that middle schooler with a beard.
But I would just keep pushing back the hours a month after month and be like, all right, next month I owe you 40. God damn, is it 48 hours? No, 48. Yeah. How about we trade the 48 hours?
And then eventually you buy them a pony. For this, you broke the rule.
Dirty CVS teddy bear. I bought a drunk.
So we do check in monthly again, as I was mentioning earlier. So if we feel like the big's not following up on their end of things, or if the little flakes out, because that happens occasionally as well, where my first match ever all the way back in college up in Philadelphia, the kid moved and just never told anybody. And I would show up to the schools, I'd go meet with them, and no contact.
God, you must not have made an impression on him.
I was probably a horrible big. At 18, 19 years old, I was a soccer hooligan in Philly. I was not a good role model. So, but he's probably scared. I probably scared him.
His big brother's forgettable.
Well, there's also the element of you want your big brother to be cool, right?
Yeah, like, you don't want to get the nerd big brother.
Well, that's what I'm saying,
everyone's cool, not around their dad, though.
True.
Like, Tom, you're not cool to your parents, or to your kids, or your parents probably, but someone else's kids, you're probably the coolest dude ever. And
that is
vice versa.
There's multitudes of Central Florida trash children that have worshipped him.
Well, they knew him as Drunky the Bear.
Yeah, they knew him as Drunky the Bear.
Yeah. There's a lot of tiny redneck kids that went to a lot of Monster Jam.
drunk to see you with me in the car.
Yeah. There's a generation of Monster Jam kids that idolize me.
All those kids. There's a lot of Amco mechanics right now.
Drunky the Bear. I used
They're
to
looking
play
up for their
Punchy the Bear at Sons of Ben tailgates. So I feel you on the
Punchy the Bear.
He was Punchy the Bear?
I was Punchy the Bear. So
Wait a minute.
I love this guy's a soccer hooligan, Punchy the Bear. You're Drunky the Bear.
That's what my wife called me when I drank too much.
I mean, the last time Dan and I saw each other was at a USL game, Harrisburg Islanders versus.
The
Islanders.
The USL.
City.
You can't do the Islanders anymore. That's not allowed. So.
No, it's not.
No, but those USL days were rough.
So, Brian, tell us a story about some of the most success you've seen with someone turning it around or whatever. Because I can imagine that even because the kids have to opt into the program, right? Or does there a caretaker opt them in? How does that work? They have to want to do this, right?
Yeah. So the guardian or teacher, whoever in their life will recommend them to the program, and then we interview the child, and if the child just does not seem interested or whatever. We'll try to coach them into it. We'll follow back up every couple of months until they get interested. But we won't force the kid into anything they don't want to do. That's not what we do.
Here, hang out with this stranger named Tom.
A lot of the kids are
flip
really
flops
eager.
stink.
Yeah, the kids are really eager, especially once we tell them, we found this big who does this for a living.
He's a radio guy. What?
That
would be impressive.
Yeah, they get really excited.
That would be impressive. He's a radio guy.
You should do this, Tom.
I like the idea of me becoming a big brother for some 8-year-old, and then I'm telling my own kids, I'm sorry, hang out with Timmy.
Probably be glad to get to play Roblox.
Yeah, that's what Mr. Rogers did.
Yeah, and then so my sons are like, "Where's Dad? We want to play." He's hanging out with his little brother.
He says the little brother's way cooler.
He took the little brother to Solar Burst.
What would be worse is if you had two littles and you were bringing them around and telling people they were Tommy and Matt. That would be. I'm just putting a little extra layer of
I have an interesting question
evil on top
about that. Is the preferred person that does this probably doesn't have any small kids or smaller brothers themselves? Probably better to have no little brother or kids that you should be hanging out with.
Yeah, typically that's why the age gap is under 35, and then they come back to us when they're in their late 50s, early 60s when their kids get out of the house. But to go back to your last question, the most successful match that we've had just goes back to this summer, actually. So they were matched for 12 and a half years, one of our longest matches. The kid wanted to be a Secret Service agent. At the time, he had mostly B's, C's, and a couple D's, mostly a confidence issue. A lot of our kids have lower grades, and it's all confidence. As soon as they start matching with someone and someone that actually cares about them, those grades go right through the roof.
100%.
So this kid worked his tail off with the help of his mentor, and then this past June got put into the Secret Service. And is now an active Secret Service agent and hit his goal. And we get that all the time. We get kids who want to be Secret Service agents. We have a lot of we have a big Bigs and Badges program. So we have firemen, cops, and veterans.
A lot of the badges I see in OPD are Bigs. If you know,
you work your whole life to become Secret Service. You get Trump.
It's got yelling at me.
He's yelling at me.
He threw a plate of spaghetti at the wall.
And dump his cell phone and Diet Coke.
He grabbed the wheel. I'm sorry. We can't take anything seriously, but you knew
No,
that.
you're good. But we're really proud of him because he set a goal. He and his big knew what the goal was.
That's
and then
dope.
That's amazing.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed by any kid that wants to become something.
That has any goals?
And I never
like
had no
that,
goals. I didn't have any goals as a kid. Nothing. I don't think I even ever had goals. Still to this day, no goals. But
You're like the
reason
England's
why-
national team.
Oh, it's got sad.
Sorry, I'm just making it worse for Richard. No goals.
but the fact that you want to become something when you're a kid and then you see it through and then that's impressive, man.
I have a friend that I went to college with who had a big little brother.
Okay.
And he said, they had come to the end of their time and it was, time for them, to go on or whatever. But they stayed connected and matched. And then this guy eventually paid for the little's college.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they were still in the same town. It was
Well, you create a bond with
Well,
someone
you become
there.
like a family.
Yeah,
You become like a real family. And
I mean, in my case, my bigs became my adopted mom and dad.
Yeah, there you go.
Like I fully feel that they were my bigs for a long time. My grandmother couldn't
that.
take care of me anymore, and
That's really cool,
offered to
man.
adopt me. So yeah, I've been part of this program for over 25 years now by this point. But the whole reason why I wanted to go on your guys' show in particular, though, is because one, you guys are the demographic that we're looking for. We're looking for men in the community, but also you guys have a very diverse group.
we're also extremely entertaining. It's so funny.
Very entertaining. I've been listening to you guys for a long
the
time.
things that we say, it's like, how can they stay irreverent after this much time? It's like they never go out of style.
They never run out of things to talk
They're
about.
like classic isotoner gloves.
So what I love about this program is like our Halloween party that we did a couple months ago. We did a trunk or treat for the kids, and I'm looking around at the group, and parked next to each other, and you guys are going to get a kick out of this. It was the youth minister and his wife, and they're little, and then literally right next to them was a guy who's one of our top bigs and such a sweetheart. And on the back of it, he's got the Jesus fish, and inside of it says Satan. And what I love about the program is we don't discriminate about religion, sex, we don't take any of that consideration. We go, every kid needs a mentor. Everyone needs someone. And out there's someone that has the same values.
Everybody's
as
different.
them.
Yeah.
And exactly. So we don't care about someone's, their politics, their religion, any of that kind of stuff. If we worked with Zebra Coalition before COVID to get training for all of our staff on,
Nice.
that community. And we're working with some people I work with to get us more training. We've started, actively getting bigs and littles who are, gay or lesbian and even trans in that community. We're also working with, the police and EMTs and all that.
Sure.
So we're a unique charity where we want to help everybody regardless of what their background is, because every child needs a mentor to get older. So that's why I love our charity in particular, is that you don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to be X, No, we'll take everybody in.
Yeah, as long as you're a good person and you qualify for...
And you pass the background check.
The background check is key.
Yeah, that's paramount.
So, Brian, how can people get involved, whether they want to be a big brother or big sister?
I want to be a little.
Or if they know someone that would benefit in the program if they're, a little.
Yeah, so our website is cflbigs.org. cflbigs.org.
How is that not a chopper shop in Daytona?
I know, right?
CFL Central Florida Bigs
Well,
Choppers.
I won the lottery on
you did
URLs on that one.
CFL Bigs. That's great.
Yeah, so on there we can learn about what it takes to be a big. You can sign up there. You can also sign up a youth and look at our different programs we have going on. If you are interested in the program but you're worried about it, we also post on Facebook and Instagram, social outings. So like Rock Pit Brewery hosts us all the time.
Yeah,
We'll do happy
sponsors.
hours.
Awesome.
And Chris Rock and his guys, we actually had one of our first events out there We're the weekly.
Look at these littles everywhere.
Yeah, and we just did a beer and learn. You came, I bought the first round of beers for everybody, talked about it, and then out of that, we got about 15 volunteers, and we got a new board member out of it.
That's awesome.
So we do a lot of those events around town too, where we'll work with Rock Pit, Ivanhoe, breweries, and coffee shops are a big thing. So if you don't see us on the website or you want to learn more information, you can come out to one of our events and volunteer with us that way. But
awesome.
Well, thank you for the time, man. This has been super eye-opening and super fun. And
it's a great program.
Yeah, if you have stuff to plug, please keep us in mind and come back sometime. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for taking the time to have me on the show, and look forward to seeing you guys in person again.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Take care, and thanks again for the time.
See you, Brian.
Yep. See you guys.
Be good. That is Brian.
It's cool to see someone that was so positively affected by this program that they've now dedicated their life to be.
Life,
and then
if I were his
I'm
grandma, I'd be proud, right? That guy's got his S together, right?
I don't know if I'm the type of person if some program helped me a lot, then I dedicate myself to that.
I wouldn't. I would
just be like, I'm good now.
Yeah,
I'm rich.
That's what I would do. Like Kelly Clarkson, American Idol. I'd be on there. I'd win it. Peace out, American Idol. I'm never coming back.
Never mentioned American Idol.
They'd be like, what about American Idol? I was never on that. I was never on. I was always better than them.
All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. So, a couple things. One, we have a Solar Bears game coming up.
We do.
December 16th.
I'm really excited about this. This is going to be the entire cast that you hear right now, plus friends and relatives and people you've heard on the show, friends of the show.
Ross is going to be out there.
His whole family's going to be out there.
Brendan O'Connor and John Busdecker is going to be out.
Did we invite Cadillac Pat?
We need to get
Pat.
Pat
You want to come?
What day of the week is it?
The 16th.
It's a Friday. That's
sorry.
big business over at Brass Tag.
That's our busy night.
I get it.
Now, we are going to be at other home games next year in January. We'll announce those as they come. But we've kind of set this date as our last hurrah of the year.
And it is the teddy bear toss that night. So bring your brand new teddy bears to toss on the ice.
Whenever, I'm a grown-ass man now, so when I was a child and people said teddy bears, I thought of a teddy bear. Now I'm a grown-ass man. When you say the word teddy bear, I think of Teddy, the nightshirt for ladies, and then I think of a bear. Where are we at with Teddy? Where are we at with the Teddy?
I don't think
that's what,
Sam?
90s. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I think you should wear more teddies around the studio. All of us. I think all of us should. Is that what I had on yesterday?
I'm writing this down to put in the...
Actually, Tom just wrote it down.
He's marking that one to cut out.
Yesterday, was I wearing a teddy? Because you could see my nips. I didn't realize you could see my nips in my dress.
That was more of like a flowy...
Hippie dress.
Boho
style.
Boho. I'm a boho.
Right.
Yeah.
Boho.
Boho.
You looking at my boho?
So, okay. We were talking about the reef sandals with the bottle opener on the bottom.
We talked about the Mick Fanning. First of all, the bottle opener one. There was another one. It wasn't Mick Fanning, I don't believe, but it had a flask.
And the flask one. And
the flask was the flask was like our trombone part 2. Sorry, why did I do that? Trombone Tease part 2.
Yeah.
It was a horrible failure.
But I remember the bottle opener being hot, and when I was younger, it was like, hey, these reefs have a bottle opener, and it was kind of before the explosion of novelty items made in China, where you could make anything you want at any time, and now nothing's novelty anymore. But then the flask, of course, lots of people bought it for gifts and things. Very few people have ever used that because it's ridiculous, and no one's. You're stepping in. Who knows
what?
You
put Jaeger in there. You dump out the Jaeger, and then you got to go home and rinse your sandals out because they're going to get sticky on the inside. That's how you get ants inside of your sandals.
Very true.
But also, why would you need a flask in your sandals? Why not?
I'm an alcoholic, Tom, and if I don't have, I don't have vodka.
When you have to sneak alcohol into places you're not allowed to bring alcohol.
If I don't have gin
Magic
inside
Kingdom.
my sandals, then my handshake off at a parent-teacher conference.
Yeah, but you could bring a plastic flask into anywhere, right, and put it in your pocket.
Well, most people around Baldwin, and I'm not saying this to blow up your spot, but everybody walking in Baldwin with any type of metal container, there's alcohol in it.
Yeah.
At all times.
Well, but I'm just saying,
any Yeti cups were made to just carry for dads to carry around juice.
You could put
right?
Gin and juice.
Yeah,
you could put straight any alcohol in a water bottle and walk into Disney with it. You know what I'm saying? They're not testing what's in your water bottle.
They used to check it. I don't
They
think
do at Universal. They
Post-COVID,
still do at Universal.
God, Universal is a buzzkill.
Yes, they do.
they would smell it.
Yes, they do.
They would smell it?
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Now they don't get that close to you anymore because I think you're allowed to bring in
Universal
water
won't
now.
let you bring in anything.
They'll sniff your cups.
They used to, yeah.
Universal, shame on you. Don't
can't
be sniffing
bring in
cups.
Cups to Universal anymore, like a water bottle. You used to be able to bring it in, but
It has to be sealed, and they check the seal.
Yeah.
God, get out of here! You guys, half your uniforms are falling apart. And you're going to check my water bottle? Why don't you fund your uniforms?
I feel
Everybody
like
on the Hulk coaster looks like a homeless person, but I can't bring in a water bottle.
if you walk in there with your wife and kids, and then your wife's got a half-filled water bottle in the diaper bag, no one's smelling that.
Yes,
You
they
know-
will. I'm telling you right now. It happened
She's
to me
the
and my
only one
husband,
that
and it
goes to-
happened. And it
Yeah.
happened to another mom who was going in, and it was a fruit punch bottle and was half drunk, and they made her pour it out.
Really?
Yeah.
Punch, not fruit punch.
Yeah.
I've only seen the metal detector and then use the stick for check
love
for
the
weapons.
stick. I love the
I
stick.
never, and then
You don't go to Universal though.
Yeah.
Well, I
you don't go
have
to any theme park.
My sister goes. She loves Universal. Like Sam loves
She's
Disney.
not
It's weird.
sneaking in
I
any
think
alcohol.
Disney,
Yeah.
they let you. A friend of mine told me that he traded a guy for some White Claw. The guy brought his own cooler of White Claw in Disney Magic Kingdom. He told me this like 6 months ago.
Yeah, they
They allow you to bring a cooler, but maybe they don't check the cooler.
No, they check the cooler.
It
Well,
just
he
depends
got
on
lucky.
who you get.
They don't look
Maybe
at
you
the
gotta-
You gotta
bottom.
stuff it at the bottom, put
Yeah.
a bunch of sodas on top.
I've brought White Claw into like Blizzard Beach and stuff, and they open the cooler, and the top there's a bunch of Capri Suns and some waters. They're not digging through the bottom.
They
That's
did
what-
that last time. My husband had to go back to the car.
It probably
Travis
depends
got
on
busted.
who you get.
I
It
know.
did, it got
That
busted.
Sucks. I felt so bad for him.
It seems like
They're
it
getting a
depends
little more
on
strict now because if you've noticed, there's been a lot more people in the news that have been having to get dragged out of the theme parks because they're getting drunk and fighting each other.
Yeah.
So they
I
have
see
to be
that.
more strict now.
I'm just saying, like, if it was you taking a plastic flask
Whoa.
in your
Plastic fat ass.
in your pocket, you do that as opposed to buying sandals with a flask in the. You know what I'm saying? Like, also. You could see the sandal flask. They're not checking
No one's looking
No one's
down at your
looking.
sandals.
And you get those
No
as a
one's looking in
gift.
your pocket either.
I mean, every step you take, there's rum squirting out of your shoes.
Yeah. How hard is this plastic?
Regardless, I wanted to talk about like gifts that you think, this would be good. Because
The sandal flask is the executive putt-putt Marshall's gift of gifts, right? It's a horrible gift.
well, speaking of that, I remember Crystal. This was years ago, before she knew any better. But her brother likes golf, and we were looking for things to get him for a golf.
lady tees.
Which is stupid, by the way. If you have any friends or family that likes golf, guess what? They have everything they need. you
know why? Because they play golf.
Yes,
they play it. They play the game.
And most likely, if they're really enjoying it and they like golf a lot, they buy specifically the only things that you don't understand.
Don't go rogue on balls. Don't go rogue on balls. If they have a specific type of ball they like, you can buy them one sleeve.
Yeah,
but ask
maybe,
them first. Don't go rogue on balls because they may not even use them.
But here's what we did: we looked through some like on the internet or whatever, and
Let's go to Nevada Bob's Golf.
and found a fake driver that you screw the top off and you put liquor in.
Yeah, I've seen those, but the novelty
Yeah.
head of it is so big it looks like it looks like the club of Bozo the Clown.
It looks like a Bozo the Clown.
Oh my
It's
God.
a big novelty.
Yeah.
It's like
How
obviously
long ago was this?
It's I mean it was like 15 years ago or
Okay.
something, like
he's gonna love it.
and of course we gave it to him and he's like very polite. He's like, "Oh, thank you."
Great. You think I'm
But-
an alcoholic clown?
Well,
Great.
yeah, well, not even that. He's like first, he's a successful insurance agent and he plays golf with his clients. He's like, I'm gonna order drinks on the golf course
From the cart girl or man.
Yeah, and I'm never going to bring my Bozo the Clown. Plus,
Here, take a pull of my novelty club.
my friends and they'll all laugh at me and they'll think I'm a crazy person and they'll think like, what kind of trashy nonsense is this?
I don't think until this year I ever realized that you are constantly worried about people laughing at you at all times.
Well, why does anybody not do that? Is because if someone saw you do that, they would be like, "What the hell?" They would laugh at. They would think you are a cheap loser.
Beverly Hillbillies out there.
Plus, he's like, "I don't want to drink hot."
Bourbon.
Jack Daniels out of some plastic club out of
It's
my.
usually
It
poorly
should be the
made.
length of the club too.
Yeah, it is. It is.
The top must have come off, and you step out of the top.
But it's usually like
stupid.
it's big,
Like a yard of beer.
The head of the club is novelty in size. It's as large as an infant's head. You know.
Yeah. And there's lots of gifts like that. Just don't even waste your money.
Now, where do you stand with the novelty club cover? Like,
That's fine. People like that.
Like Stuff the Magic Dragon, like
Tom and Dan custom.
I have one. The Ocoee Fire Department got me one as a gift for playing their charity
what do
tournament
you
every
put
year.
in it? What do you masturbated it? What do you do?
No, it's on my driver in my
Your
garage.
rusted clubs that you stole from Jim Culver. Yeah.
No, these are new. They bought me some clubs.
They bought you clubs?
Yeah, because they were embarrassed that I showed
Wow.
up with Jimmy's rusty clubs.
Yeah, they bought you
They're like,
clubs.
you're playing with homeless man's clubs.
What is the novelty? What
It's
is
Tom
it?
and Dan.
Oh, it's Tom.
Yeah,
I've
you-
never even seen that. My
Yeah,
God,
I've
he's
never-
living a double life. I've never
Wow.
even seen these things.
Well,
that
don't
people are
bring-
buying
Got your
for.
name on it and everything.
Yeah, apparently you don't drive by in the Tom and Dan limousine either and show me that. I don't bring this guy.
I play golf once a year at a Ocoee
But
golf tournament.
somehow you've convinced an entire group of men to buy you clubs. They're giving you awards.
No, they're doing it like so you don't show up to dinner like with dressed like a homeless person.
It's
They're
like buying
embarrassed.
your Uncle Steve a pair of dress slacks.
yeah. They're embarrassed of me, so they have to buy me stuff so I don't embarrass them in front of their friends.
I hear you. What are you oofing about? What's wrong? Are you just oofing
No,
about him?
oofing at him.
Yeah, okay. I figured. Oofo,
That's
oofing.
sad when your friends buy you a quote unquote gift because they're embarrassed by you.
Something tells me the optics on that are wrong, but
Everybody's different.
we're all in this together. More alike than we are different.
I didn't ask for it. I was just
No, I know.
like,
I'm just saying that's sad for you.
I'm assuming that's what they think,
Yeah.
But when
It's like when-
after the show, I tell myself that's not the truth.
Yeah.
That's
That's how I get
really
through
what's
life.
going on.
I say it on the show truthfully, and that's what I really think. But after, I'm like, that can't be real.
That's all show.
Anyway,
You
so-
have to hide the fact that he plays with them. It's kind of like when your mom and dad open the door and you're hiding in Xeno Man in your room. You put a hat on him. You know?
yeah. It's a hiding in single man scenario. So, okay, let's switch gears a little bit because I want to talk about Pat's lifestyle. Because
Oh my God.
So,
That sounds a lot worse than it is, right? It sounds like we're talking
My
about
life-
Pat's life. The
Sounds like he's a
lifestyle.
swinger, right?
And-
Yeah, are
It's
you a
part of the
swinger? You're not a
lifestyle.
swinger.
You never know.
Well,
right.
this I could talk to Sam about her lifestyle too,
Hey,
because
whoa.
this has to do with having no
You
kids.
don't know my life.
And me,
Yeah.
I don't know, and there's a mystery
All
that I'm
right.
afraid
I
to
bet.
really pry into because I don't know what's
Raise
going
your
on.
hand if you peep and poop, pee and poop with the
Peep
door
and
open. If you peep and poop with the door open.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you fart in front of your loved one.
No.
Depends
Yeah, I'd do
where.
that.
You crank blammers?
Yeah.
Do you let your wife crank blammers?
Well, I show my disgust and I get mad every
Yeah, I
time,
do too.
but she doesn't care anymore. She stopped caring.
All right, now that we
about-
got our lifestyles out of the way.
Anyway, no, but I'm talking about the how much freedom you have with no kids. All right,
Okay.
because I feel like a lot of people could relate to this.
I can kind of relate to it. My daughter has a job, and I never see her. I don't even know where my
Well,
daughter
Daniel's like, yeah,
she
that's a
messaged
different
me
thing.
this morning from school. She's like, "Hi, Dad, I love you." I wrote her back. I go, "Hey, how's your day going?" She's like, "I'm in class. Can't talk now. Talk later."
Yeah. I guess that's,
She's too busy for you.
she's already independent, and Andrew's independent.
It
so
breaks
yeah,
my
it's
heart.
But so my
I want to
sons,
put her socks on. I want to hold her. I want
Yeah.
to kiss her. I haven't kissed her in years.
my sons are not independent, and I'm a horrible parent. So there's a lot of picking up around the house, doing everything for
I
them,
do
right?
that.
But so then there's no free time in the day for me anymore. Like it's work and then kid stuff, go home, and luckily, you get a couple hours before you go to bed to drink, and then it's do it all over again. Yeah, do it all over again. So before I get into my story about how this led me into being a wonderful dad last night,
Okay.
I want to know about you, Pat. When you get home from work, what's the normal? Because I'm always constantly. I used to make fun of Jimmy too because I didn't believe how busy he was all the time, and he's just like, I had this and this. I gotta go take the kids to volleyball.
I got to pick up some mulch volleyball. The
And I was
dog.
like, how could it be that much? And then I realized, oh yeah, it is that much. And he's got 4 kids, so it's way worse. But even with 2, I have no time. So Pat, when you got free time, how is it? How sweet is it?
Oh, it's nice. I mean, I sleep till 11 a.m. every day.
Whoa! Wow! Tom says
God.
his wife does that. It's really mean. He shouldn't say that.
I gotta force myself to get out of bed before noon.
She sneaks it. I think I have suspicions.
Sneak sleep?
I hate Andrea gets me up and I want to sleep in more, but Andrea's always she's like their clock will go off and be like 5:18, gotta get up.
Yeah. I mean, well, we got to go to work, and then it's the same thing every day. And then and then after you get home from work, it's kind of like because you're an adult, so you have the normal adulting that we all have to do.
Sure.
But without the kids, it's a lot easier to fit that stuff in. Right?
It's nice and quiet.
Clean.
I mean, I get home late at night, so I get home and it's usually TV on and get on your phone for like a half hour, an hour by yourself quietly. And then just go to bed. I mean, it's pretty...
Watch whatever you want.
Yeah.
So the quiet time, that's what I'm obsessed with.
That's when the nightmares come for me.
So...
when it's quiet, it's like
the ghosts from
I can
Ghost.
feel it. It's like 1,000 Slender-Mans coming together. They're all coming
The
together.
shadow, long shadow.
All of them.
It's creepier when they go up the wall like a 90 degree.
It's crazy.
Anyway.
Babadooks, all of them.
So I... too like quiet time every once in a while, but I rarely get it. And then
When's the
Can
last
you just
time?
give your kids Roblox and call it a day? They'll be quiet.
He doesn't
you
like
can,
to do
but
that.
then that comes with extreme guilt.
So
Because
that's your problem. You care what other people think again.
well, it's not what other people think. It's just like I'm like, well, I shouldn't just let them be on these video games at all time for myself to get quiet time. It's like I have to.
What did your parents do when you were a kid?
It was the
dad would-
'80s. You did nothing.
My dad would watch
That's what
the
I'm saying.
news.
You played Nintendo. You'd watch cartoons.
My
Your
dad would
parents
play
do whatever
outside.
they want.
I'd go to my room, I'd play with my
It's
G.I.
fine.
Joes or go outside. I had a couple choices, ride my bike.
Yeah, but here's what I kept telling myself because when old men, I made fun of this. I remember making fun of this, so I'm trying to not do this. When old men told me, like, this is how I lived back in the 1950s, like Pop or whatever, the old people would tell me that. And then I'd be like, well, you are emotionally damaged. You are the meme. You are emotional damage. You like this, like the way you grew up wasn't necessarily the right way. It was just the way you grew up, and everybody may not benefit from experiencing this.
Okay. Yeah,
based on your hardness and how I've never seen you give someone a hug or admit you have any sort of weakness. There's a lot of things that I believe you growing up the way you did, caused some damage. I don't want to do that to my sons, even though now it's the opposite. I'm damaging them in another way. Regardless, I want some free time every once in a while. So, like last night, every once in a while, like I have some garage White Claw that are like behind the Christmas gifts or like where we keep
God,
the.
you wrap it and put it under the tree? And
No,
then you're
no.
sneaking them out of there?
Daddy's present.
Put it inside that novelty golf club.
But
you know?
every once in a
hot.
while, I'll go out to the garage and like be pretending to look for
And
something.
sweat drink a warm White
No.
He will sweat drink
I have
a
an
Black cherry White Claw.
I bring a cup of ice, which I'll announce.
But the White Claw is hot as hell. It's sitting next to the dryer. It's boiling.
But the
Just melts the ice right away.
Quick.
But I'll announce like I'm like
I'm going to the
Why do
garage.
you announce where you're going?
I'm going to the garage for a long project.
Don't come in
because
here.
I'm announcing like I'm like where's
Certainly
the
not
LaCroix?
masturbating.
Like I get ice and then the crow hears the ice maker, so it triggers her to be like, "Are you drinking this early?" Like I thought you agreed to start when the boys went to bed.
Agreed. You're not country.
Man.
It's not-
This is rough.
so then I'll
You're not adhering to your agreement.
because every once in a while I'll be like, I gotta quit that. We gotta get healthy. It's this can't live.
Yeah, you're healthy.
And then need to go back. It's a back.
It's a backa.
Anyway, I'll say, "Where's the White Claw?" And then I'll pretend like I'm gonna like pour White Claw on ice, or no, sorry, LaCroix on ice.
They
And
must
then-
think you're an idiot because the LaCroix is always in the same spot, isn't it?
Well, not
So
with the
wait,
fans.
you're
It's all like sometimes it
Sometimes
never
it's
makes.
in their son's room.
Well-
it's under their bed.
Okay.
Because sometimes Crystal will take it out of her car after grocery shopping and leave it in the garage.
That's what Andrea does.
And then for me to mule it inside, I'm like, you couldn't bring it.
Andrea will stuff it
4
in our
feet.
fridge. Like our downstairs refrigerator has got it all packed
Well,
in there.
you've got stairs, so I can
Yeah.
understand. Yeah.
And then I get like, I don't carry it out.
Is your living Daniel? Is your living room upstairs? Like you got to go up the stairs to get to the
It
main.
is, but we converted the garage into the living room, and we got to figure out how to park the cars up in the second floor. But it is upstairs. It's on the second floor.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you go in, and then
straight away to the stairs.
Yeah, and then the first set of stairs, you come up into the kitchen and the living room.
Okay.
So last night, do the whole thing, and then I go outside.
Where's the LaCroix? And they're like, oh god, he's doing
And then
it
I pour
again. He's
myself
going to
a
drink
hot
his
White
hot
Claw.
White Claw.
But he said LaClaw. He really told him himself.
And then I know I only got a small window of time because
so you drink it fast.
Because Crystal would start snooping around like, what's going on? And
you know how hard it is
Where
to
are
drink hot cocoa or mulled wine when it's piping hot. You gotta slam it and just burn your esophagus.
And I'll open the garage door because that
Let
way
the smell of the cherry White Claw out.
no. Well, I'll
it smells like watermelon White Claw out here.
I'll like wander around the side of the house. Like I'll do my rounds. Like
wander. Oh, I do this.
Like, you know, with
I
a
did this
glass,
last night.
and I'll look at my Christmas lights. I'll look at my dead grass.
See, I put my High Noon or a White Claw, one of those seltzers. I put it in that sleeve that I got.
it's all your sleeve.
I have a sleeve that I put my drinks in. It keeps them cold, and I walk around with that. I look at my lights. I'm like, I got the brightest lights on the block.
Yeah. So I'll do that, and then so last night I was wandering around, look at the dead grass, look at my truck. And then I'm hearing loud Christmas music, right? Like loud. And it sounds like someone's having a party, like a Christmas party. And I'm like, that's weird. Like most
People
of my
having fun.
Yeah, I get invited to everything. Was I not invited?
No, it's, Wednesday night or whatever. And I'm like, it's weird to have like that loud of a Christmas party. Like, why does it sound like the music is outside?
Hell? I'm the Joey Fatona Castleberry.
and my neighbors don't really have that many parties. So it was like, where's the music coming from? And then all of a sudden I hear a fire truck.
Oh, no.
And then I hear a fire truck and then like some cops like, whoop, whoop. And then I'm like, it dawned on me because last year they did the presentation of Castleberry Santa Claus.
Oh, that's right. Hey, what's up? I'm back, mother ever!
And so the cops and the fire department and they drag they have a cop truck and then they have a flatbed.
They get the largest cop to dress up like Santa Claus.
And then they put a sleigh on a flatbed and they have Santa and Mrs. Claus and then they have some like carolers and another flatbed.
Yeah, and then they got raccoon reindeer.
They have a fire truck and then some cops. Yeah. And so
they do an impromptu parade.
And then they like trailer them through Castleberry, through like the apartment complex that's near my house. Then they go through like Lakemont.
I love a good apartment complex parade.
Oh my God.
And then I knew, I was like, oh, it's Castleberry Santa Claus. So I ran inside and the boys, I'm like, boys, get out of here.
Goddamn flatbed Santa's back.
So I'm like, get out of your shoes. So
put a shirt on.
And they
comb your mullet.
Did you have to tie the shoes for him?
And they get the shoes tied.
Brush your mullets back. Brush your mullets back so you look like Morgan Wallen.
And then, so the boys, they run out, and then they wanted to ride in the back of the truck.
No, not without a cowboy hat. Run in and grab your hats, boys.
And then I'm like, we can't ride in the back of the truck. There's the Castleberry PD. I'll get a DUI.
I was thinking we gotta go. You were drinking LaCroix, Dad.
We gotta go on foot. And so,
what one wheel and the 2 pints.
Okay, I get a one wheel. Max grabs his scooter, and Tommy's on foot.
Oh my
dude,
God!
Wait a minute, Max is the runner.
You and Max are a-holes, dude. You should have set up Tommy with something. That's not fair.
He's a stick bug. He can't be running that fast.
Yeah, you need to put him in a wagon and drive in behind you.
An avalanche of stuff fell on the scooter, and we can't get it out.
I thought you cleaned the garage.
It's too far gone. So anyway, so then I get on my one wheel, and we start going and we're following the sound of the fire truck, right? And then we see the lights as light crazy, or like over the house.
You, Castleberry Santa.
And then so we go down the sidewalks, and then we turn the corner, and there he is. He's sitting. No one's around.
Did he have his beard off? And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
No.
Put it up real fast.
It's
like what was that? That's in like Home Alone. It's in Christmas Story. Remember this? He puts
a lot.
No, Home Alone.
He puts it up fast. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
And Home Alone.
It is Home Alone.
Yeah.
And there is Castleberry Santa and Mrs. Claus sitting on a sleigh on the flatbed. There's a procession of
Jerry
cops
Demings,
and then carolers, and then like a fire truck or whatever. But they're stopped, like getting ready to like make their way
bust a perp
down Lakemont or whatever. So, but there's nobody around, like no other kids. Like we're the first.
Nobody got the memo.
Wait until you figure, like, I tell you how they sent the memo that this was happening. So
okay.
Anyway, so we pull up, and then now we're just standing there, and Castleberry Santa Claus is from here to that TV to me, like we're
close.
So me
Does
and the boys,
Does he look good?
Me and the boys are just standing there, 10 feet, and then he's on like the sleigh, whatever. He looks over and he's like, "Hey, kids!" And, and he starts throwing some candy out to Tommy and Max, and they're picking it up. And they're like, "Yay!" And then I'm like, and then they're like, "What do you?"
I wish this candy was wrapped, but we are Castleberry.
There's nobody nobody around. And then so the Santa's like, hey, what do you boys want for Christmas? They're at the conversation.
We want Xbox!
They're talking to him and stuff. And then like we're standing
Did you take notes so you know what the hell to get your kids?
And,
you should listen.
That's a whole different thing. Tommy asked for a VR, Xbox, and PlayStation. That's the only 3 things on his list. And he's like, that's what I want.
I love it.
And then I'm like, Santa, like that's too expensive.
You got VR already, so you got take that one off the page.
Well, then he's like, Santa makes this
Exactly.
stuff, right?
He's playing you, bro.
Yeah, I know.
He knows Santa's not real.
He knows.
Anyway, so we're having this experience with Customer Santa. No one's around, and then so he has this conversation. We're standing there for like 3 to 4 full minutes.
Does anybody need a pull off my vape?
So we're standing there, and then like we have this experience. And he throws the candy, a bunch of candy. So only Tommy Max, they pick it up off the grass or whatever.
Boys, and here's some coupons for Twin Peaks.
And then all of a sudden, the fire truck takes off, and then they all take off, and then like
and you
leave.
all a good night.
And then as they all take off, next thing you know, a dozen parents start running down, like running, like, and then their kids are like in
crying.
Yeah, they're like, oh no, and then they're like, what happened? They're like, I'm like, he was here.
And then they're like, you ruined it. Get him.
And so then me and Tommy and Max started walking home, and then some other old man came out of his house. He's like, oh yeah, I saw they were doing this on my water bill. That's how they advertise it on everybody's water bill. On the bottom, it was like Castleberry Santa will be coming.
Yeah, but you hate Castleberry water bills because you've been feuding with the Castleberry Water Department for the last
Do you
10
even get your
years.
water from Castleberry? I thought that was a description.
I get it from Castleberry. That's the only way.
The only way you can get water.
But I thought it was weird. I was like, who reads any font?
I don't even get a physical bill.
The water bill.
I look at the number and that's it.
I didn't even know they advertise things on a water bill, like events.
They'll put little things in there.
You think they just mail you a separate piece of paper with the event on it? Like
I don't get a paper bill.
For water, I do.
You could opt not to get the bill, right?
Yeah, paperless.
Yeah, because paperless thing is.
See,
so where do I think they give it to you on the electronic. They put the electronic note, but who reads it?
I do everything online, but I ask for the paper bill just to get back at the government.
To make them do something.
Yeah.
Make them do
They're
something.
like, do you want a paper bill? I'm like, absolutely. Whatever makes it hard for you. Whatever's the hardest for you.
Yeah.
Because I just paid you an exorbitant amount of money for the stupid Baldwin water, so feel free to print out everything and send it to my house.
So then when we got back, and then Crystal, like, she was in her office. She had to make some call or something. And so she runs out. She's like, what happened? And I got a picture. I'll show you the picture. Look at this.
You are the best dad.
And then I was like, if I wasn't an alcoholic.
Yeah. If he had not cracked that garage to get the smell of black cherry White Claw out of there, you would have never seen Castleberry Santa Claus.
You
know what? I make a lot of jokes, but that's pretty damn cool.
You can show
Look
Twitch.
at that. Look how cute. Look how cute they are.
And there's nobody else around.
That's all. They got like a private show. You're a good. See, you're the fun dad. I always fail at this stuff.
But I would have never
awesome.
even heard it if I wasn't outside with my garage open.
Sam,
Yeah,
they are
you'd have
so
missed it.
happy. They are so happy in this photo.
And by the way, this is like 8:30 at
Look
night.
at Mrs. Claus.
Damn, that's late.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at how cute Mrs. Claus is peeking around the corner. She's like, hi.
You know what? This may have been 6 because it gets dark.
It's dark
so early.
quick,
Yeah. Maybe
8:30 would have been way
We
late.
don't
Yeah.
have anything like that around here.
No, you got something.
You guys had a winter wonderland?
We went to the Baldwin Christmas parade.
No. I want a Santa Claus just driving around in the afternoon.
There were 10 Santa Claus.
There's some kind of old truck, painted fancy old truck with a Christmas tree on a
That's
trailer.
a realty place.
that guy's a realtor.
I drove by that. I was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, you guys have a Christmas parade.
That's
that we went
Baldwin
to.
Bart Merrick, and he is always drives in the Christmas parade. But I want I think this is a cool idea.
Well, the Christmas parade is way better. This is like no one even knew about it because it's the only way they advertise is on your water bill. So only
That's
old people
insane.
knew about it.
Yeah.
And so all the people with parents, they just heard it and then ran out last minute. And I just so happened to be standing outside. Father of the Year. And then
that makes up for everything else.
that's what I said. That's what I
Christmas
screamed.
pretty
She
good
was
one,
probably
though.
pretty proud of you, though,
pretty
right?
good.
That you found that?
Yeah, she was like, "How'd you know?" And I was like,
I didn't.
No, of course. I was like,
I read the water bill.
And White Claw is the reason for the season.
I made up. If someone gives me credit for something, I always take it. I never dismiss it. I always I knew this was coming. Some listener tipped me off, and then I read about it.
You could have gone even farther. You could have said, I put in a call.
No, she knows that's a lie.
They could have. I had him swing by, pulled one of the old, Tom Van switch.
Daniel, please make a new character, Castleberry Santa Claus. Please.
He's already there. There's already a real guy.
I want a song.
A
holiday song,
okay,
please.
I'll think about
please.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producers here. Hello and salutations, Sam.
Hello.
How the hell are you? How's it hanging?
Nothing's hanging.
No, you got two hangers.
Yeah.
I only got. I got three hangers. You got two hangers.
By saying it's hanging,
how's it hanging?
That seems offensive, right?
Yeah.
No.
It seems derogatory.
Like
My dad used to say that all the time. Look, I'm not going to look at you when I say this, but I like the hang more than the bolt on. I like a gentle hang.
Okay, Josh's son is here. I
forgot he was here.
But he's Canadian, so maybe he's advanced. I don't know.
He's advanced. He's having a beer right now. He's in there making his own Molson.
It's Canadian laws.
Yeah. Hey, Canadian Josh is here for the show, everybody.
Hello, America. How is everybody?
So Josh made the trek down to America.
Is that what you say? Made the trek.
Yeah.
Snow dogs and all. What are they called? Sled dogs.
Sled dogs.
Sled dogs.
What's the flight like?
It's not too bad. It's about 3.5 hours.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Oh my God.
Getting back, it's already
my mind is. I'm like,
it's not like going to Australia or something. Like you went to Hawaii, it was like 12 hours.
Oh yeah.
And we got upgraded too. This guy's ruined for life now because it's the business class that has like the pods.
Really?
What? You got the pods?
Yeah, and he did too. So my son did. So ruined for life.
Yeah.
Like, once you get that,
you can sleep naked in the pod.
You easily could.
Yeah.
Those pods are nice. I got the pods one time, and I was like, this is not bad. Like, you can stay in here for a while.
Never had a pod.
Yeah, it's like this is the way
Never
you're
even
supposed to
seen
travel.
I've had a traditional leather business class where you're sitting and then, like the traditional.
Yeah.
The old school, curtain, you drag the curtain, what the hell are
but you're
these
still
things?
sitting upright and stuff. When you're laying down, that's the way to travel.
The biggest problem with first class for me is that the rest of the plane should have their own disgusting entrance.
Exactly.
So they don't have to walk past me and rub their soiled dungarees and disgusting work shirts on me.
Yeah, on the pod planes, you don't even have to see them.
Yeah,
you come
I don't want to see
and
them.
the pod people go left and the poros go right.
Yeah, they
like
should
that,
have
yeah.
a separate door, kind of like on a cruise ship. Sometimes there's separate doors you can get off of. There's like two. They're like, you can get off the back of the boat, you get the front.
Separate
the
door.
plane should have the front where all the business classes you get on first class, and then everybody else has to get in the ass of it next to the toilet where it stinks.
I don't like when the poor people walk down the aisle
neither.
and look at me
Don't
while I'm
look at
sitting.
me.
I'm like, put a bag on their heads.
Exactly. Put a Walmart bag on their head.
Don't make eye contact.
At the very least, put some of those glasses on from the optometrist that'll just block out what they see, and then make them put their hands on each other's shoulders and walk like prisoners down the line.
Now, Canadian Josh did pay his bet.
Yeah, that's
I'm
right.
having a beer with Canadian Josh. Doing the show with a beer is so much better. My God.
Having a beer with Canadian
Having a beer with Canadian Josh.
And so thank you for that. I would have forgotten.
Really?
I appreciate you
I thought
paying
you
your
might
bet.
turn the other way on that and go like, hey, since you're here and since you put the money in my hand, I'm giving it back to you. Merry Christmas. None of that?
No. I never give someone's losing bet back. That's an insult to Josh too. That's like
He doesn't seem like that.
that's like a slap in the face.
Is
No,
it?
yeah.
A slap in the face is like a slap in the face. This would just be like giving money back.
No,
Yeah.
but Josh is a Canadian real man. Once he loses a bet, he pays it and he accepts it.
Yeah.
and then he wants me
He
to
looks
take
like he
that
wants
money
the
and,
money back. I'm looking
and
at
waste
him.
it. No, I see what he makes.
How much is it?
$100 cash.
So I get 50,
American.
I get 50 of that.
No.
Sam?
Hold on.
What was the bet? The weight loss?
I didn't
bet?
make the bet
This is
in the
our show.
TND
This is
media.
not the Tom
That's a
Van
personal
show.
bet.
This is not the Tom. No, I get 50% of that. You used our airwaves to steal $50
Would you have
from a
paid
friend.
him from your personal account or the business account?
He always pays to the business
Why
account.
are you prying into this? This is none of your business.
Sorry.
Moving on.
This is men's business.
I'll sit here with my maple syrup.
You just sit over there. How's it hanging, Sam?
So you also brought us some
Treats.
maple syrup. Is this made in China,
It's organic.
Josh?
No, this is
man, it's
like Canadian natural ice.
It's Canada grade A.
It's the real deal, and organic too, which is kind of all maple syrup is organic. There's no such thing as mats. But that's kind of a marketing thing. They put the organic.
Oh, my
Is
daughter
this cut
will-
with some sort of gelatin? Like
High
sugar water,
fructose syrup,
yeah, because they do that with or is this straight from the Canadian tree?
Straight from the tree.
Yeah,
that's the real deal.
This is good. This is going to be devoured in less than 5 seconds in my house. My daughter is addicted to syrup.
Well, give her the cheap stuff. She doesn't know the difference.
Dude, she absolutely knows the difference. I was just talking about this with Canadian Josh. We used to be...
She's pretty uppity about her foods.
She's very uppity about her foods, and her mama got her that way. And she, like, agave nectar, nope. Regular,
Gotta be the real deal.
Regular Aunt Jemima, nope. She likes the nice, and you can tell, but the way it comes out. When it comes out thin, she's like, oh, that's the real stuff right there. That's that good.
Yeah.
And they know. And she doesn't just put a little on her pancakes. She goes all over the top, all around the sides, then she'll dunk, then she'll pour a little on each one. It's a mess.
Speaking of maple syrup, this segue, I didn't even have this written down, but it segues into something we should talk about. Yesterday, for the first time, I wandered into a Waffle House and had breakfast.
Yeah.
The young
Thoughts?
daughter was asleep.
What'd you think?
What were your thoughts on our Waffle House?
Well, you can consume 2 days of your caloric intake for $9.99.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
The waffles are thin. I love them. They're a little vanilla-ish.
Yeah, and
Little
it's like
vanilla.
the fake syrup and the whipped spread. That was my favorite.
Whipped spread is good.
What is it?
It's a salted butter.
What is it?
Salted buttercream.
I don't like people cooking the food in front of me. You may think I would because then it keeps everybody honest.
Yeah.
But I don't even want to see them do. I feel bad that they're cooking the food and
You think you're constantly thinking about it, what everybody's thinking.
and then I made them
If
do
you got
work.
eye contact and some guy's breaking eggs, you'd be like, that guy hates me because he's having to cook my eggs.
Well, that's what he thinks in his mind. I'm for sure.
I don't
Like
think
he'd
so.
rather just
You're
stand
not
there.
you're wrong, though. He's probably thinking about his wife or
Every job that I had,
the
that
Detroit Lions.
a customer walks in, I'm always mad about it. Like I'm always like, Gah!
Yeah.
And then so they're not the owner. They're not Mr. Waffle.
But you got to do it anyway.
I should be Mr. House.
Yeah, and I sat at the counter too.
Gotta sit at the counter.
It was a little bit sad and awkward as well, but they had like an army of people there, which was pretty impressive.
Yeah, and the way it runs, I like to see the guy, like when a guy does take out a pallet of eggs, he sets it up there, and man, when he's cracking them, he's like, and just throwing eggs in a bowl, whipping them up.
Yeah, and then after that, later in the afternoon, I went, and on your recommendation from last time I was here, Dan, we went yesterday afternoon to Fun Spot America.
Oh, I thought you went to Hooters.
Yeah.
We're gonna take this guy to Hooters.
Did you go on Moe's Day?
No, that was Sunday.
that
Mo
was
has
Sunday.
a day. Yeah, that is quite a place.
So what'd
yeah.
you think of Fun Spot?
It reminded me of the post-apocalyptic zombie park from
Yes.
Zombieland.
Yeah.
When we walked in, we were like,
Double
we're
tap.
in Zombieland right now, and there was
A
nobody
full liquor
there.
bar, though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you got to find that bar and post up.
I got to give it to Fun Spot because we've been going to Fun Spot since the kids were little, and for a guy who doesn't like theme parks, says I don't like Fun Spot. Isn't S-slammed, right?
It's not a theme park, sir.
Yeah,
That is a great American action park.
yeah, and
there's
then
a difference.
And so it's like you're not waiting in lines. They do serve beer. I think they have full
They got
liquor
everything.
bar.
They
Yeah,
got
they
whatever
do.
you want. You go in
and-
the parking lot, you get everything.
And then you
You
pay.
could drink and drive go-karts.
And here's what I
Yes,
like:
we did.
you can go there for free and just pay per ride.
Yeah,
which
that was nice.
is an advantage because like
You may do one and get sick and never want to ride again.
Really,
right?
and especially with kids, like you go to a theme park and they're not utilizing your $118 ticket, and like you better ride everything that's got.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
why
you
you're
get
like,
ti-
go meet Elsa.
Yeah, yeah.
Hold her hand.
I'm like, we paid $100. Like this is one cost, and it includes everything. So
Right.
you got to do as much as possible.
So
Fun
you know
Spot-
what? You're right. There's psychological. When she doesn't want to meet Mickey
It
Mouse,
makes it worse.
You go crazy
Yeah,
mad.
yeah.
But if you're at Fun Spot and then she's like, I'm done with go-karts, you're like, well, fine.
It saves
done
me
with
money.
go-karts.
Yeah.
It's less money actually.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah,
we'll
that was
sit
good.
here and drink.
You know what? That's 2 hugs you get today.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
And
He doesn't like hugs.
Yeah. And I like the it's huge part of
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Where's the boy? It used to be him, I think, and his family did it. And then
the owner, Mr. Spot.
Mr. Spot, the start of his ads were Mr. Spot would do them and do his ads. I think maybe he had his family with him. And then he lost some weight. He lost a lot of weight. He got very svelte because I would see him at the Phillips File poker tournament.
Oh. And
then he would do the It's Huge thing. And then you'd see him doing it, and he looked really good. He had fresh haircut, like bright white teeth. He looked awesome. But then I see less of him. I don't know if he's the face anymore.
Well, they probably aren't buying too many TV commercials as much. They're probably like, we'll market on the internet.
Yeah.
It's like it makes more sense.
Billboards, though.
They do.
But I don't think he's on them anymore, is he? I think he's pulled back a little bit. I think maybe, pretty grueling schedule being the face of FunSpot.
Yeah. And you get bothered all the time. Like, I bothered that guy at Orlando City Soccer.
Hey, say it's huge. Into my phone from my mom.
Leave a voicemail.
Do the hands up thing like you're riding the roller coaster. I think I did that one time. I saw him in passing at the Phillips File poker tournament and drunkenly screamed, "It's huge," and spit in his face.
Yeah.
I was like, "It's huge!"
He probably was like, "I'm too rich for this. I don't want to deal with this anymore."
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway,
and then he probably said after that, he's probably like, "They should have a separate entrance on the plane for the poor people." No.
He had a advertisement on the side of the Citrus Bowl, and every time I saw it,
what did it say?
It was a huge fun spot.
It's still there.
Is it still there? I mean, that thing costs some money because, like, talk about it's huge.
I see it every time I drive on I-4.
It's 30 by 60 or something.
Camping World Stadium.
Camping World.
On the side of Camping World?
Yeah, it's a banner.
Yeah,
but
it's just a banner. Yeah,
but it is.
We need we need a huge banner.
No, you know how much that costs?
More
than we have.
More than I just gave you.
Yeah,
that's probably a one-time $25,000, and then a monthly fee. You know what I'm saying? It's like $25,000 to start, and then
you kind of hope they forget it's up there.
$7,800 a month.
I think they have. It's been up there a while.
Yeah, I hope they forget it's up there. Okay.
All right.
Did you guys want to talk about hockey some?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I want to hear about you doing more Florida things like Waffle House and Fun Spot.
Yeah, well, I guess another side note to that: the homeless population in Orlando has migrated.
It's more than the homed population at this point.
Yeah. Like
easier to
we're down in
afford
I
the
Drive,
streets.
right? Where I Drive of Universal, that area. Yeah, I was accosted no less than 3 times.
Did you introduce your son to any ladies of the night?
It's the winter.
We have them.
They're like disgusting birds.
Wow.
Like they get pushed down by the cold weather.
Yeah.
And it's true, right?
Pooping on everything.
But
pooping and peeing on everything.
I started thinking about this. Like, it's hard for them to travel many miles. Like a bird, they could fly pretty far.
Well, if I were a bird, I'd go way high, and then once I got way high, I'd be like, I'm on coast.
So how do you, if the cold is pushing them down south, how are they traveling?
By bus, it's got to be, right?
Yeah.
They used, I don't know if they still do, but they used to, actually ship homeless people for free to come down to Florida.
Just to save them from the cold.
Yeah, I've heard stories of police officers and
stuff.
In a box? And they pool
in a
money,
bus.
just give them enough money to,
give them a bus
I
ticket.
thought you meant ship them in a box. Okay, get in this box. It's going to be warm soon.
DeSantis does that.
Yeah, he does do that. But he was shipping them to like a fancy
to the
place.
north.
Yeah, he's like, get on these sailboats and put on your vineyard vines.
Anyway.
Solar bears. That's kind of why I'm here. So we have said a few times about the solar bears. We all assume that they're all Canadian. So I did a little deep dive into some stats in the team roster. So on a 25-man roster, how Canadian do you guys think the solar bears are percentage-wise?
78%.
Dan's going 78?
It's too high because I feel like
I think there's a lot of Ukraine.
Here's my logic.
Russia.
If you're going to the minor leagues, I feel like there's a lot more Canadian minor leagues, so they're staying north, right? Like
I don't know that.
Rather than coming down to our minor leagues, I feel like you're going to run through all of Canada's minor leagues.
It's desirable to live around here.
That's true. You bring up that point.
That Florida factor.
I forgot about that.
Huge.
Florida.
Yeah, we got Waffle House. We got ladies of the night.
Yeah. Well, you just got the weather. My God, in Canada, it's freezing right now.
It's disgusting.
But it's a lot more fun. You can have a lot more fun in the sun with a lady of the night than in the snow with a lady of the night.
I'm going 60%.
Okay, Sam?
I'll go 44%.
I like that.
That would make Sam the closest. So, 25-man roster.
Okay.
Out of the 25, there is 13 Americans. The team is over 50% American.
That's good, right?
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
And then there's 9 Canadians and 3 European Russians. So over half the team is American, which kind of surprised me.
That is pretty cool.
Mostly like states, Michigan, North Dakota, Western New York. New England.
And one Bahamas.
That's southern Canada.
I agree.
There's a point where it's like, we're in Canada. Like, I know there's a line and there's a
Buffalo,
country.
you're Canada.
100%.
Yeah, but you're closer to Canadian than I am, for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not the same American. You're
basically Canadian.
You're blended in with Canada a little bit.
Yeah, your top goal scorer is Canadian, though. Joe Carroll. He's one to watch. Like, not a large amount of people from the ECHL make it to the NHL, but there's...
What about Olsen?
Yeah.
That's Maisie's favorite forward. I asked her, why is Olsen your favorite forward? And she said, because he starts fights.
Oh, okay. He probably leads in penalty minutes then.
Because we do like the fighting aspect of it. She very much likes the fighting because she doesn't understand the fighting aspect of it, so she enjoys it. She's like, I don't know what they're doing, but I like that.
You know, it still doesn't make that much sense to me because I was talking to a hockey coach, dad, friend of Tommy's, you know, at cross country race, and he knows about hockey. He's a coach, and he was talking about like how sometimes you get this weird anomaly where some backup goalie is like the Zamboni driver.
Right,
We've talked about with Josh before.
Yeah,
and then I'm like, he's better than like one of their players that could just throw on the goal. Like, why is the Zamboni driver better than just like a backup forward or whatever? Like, hasn't he had more ice time and like just a better athlete?
Without even being a coach, I can make a couple arguments. Like, I'm not sure once your lines are set in a specific way that you'd want to start altering that. So to pull one of your other guys out of his line.
Yeah, and goaltending is such a specific
and it's
position.
So specific.
Well, that's what he said.
That's why you always see the hockey guys are always talking about their keeper almost like he's the king. They treat him with this, like, we've talked about this before, but the level of respect that they treat the keeper with is like, I've never seen anything like it. You don't even treat the keepers in soccer like this. Like, the keeper in hockey is like the queen in chess, and you just don't mess with that guy, and we protect him at all costs.
It's just, what I'm thinking is like, it's the equivalent, remember when...
and we have a good one on the Lightning.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Lightning for NHL, but I don't even know who the keeper is for Solar Bears.
It's an American guy. Yeah, I forget his name.
But like, I guess it's the equivalent. I'm thinking like, well, okay, Odell Beckham Jr. for lack of a better name or whatever, or like your star,
that's a big name.
The star wide receiver on your team, like the best wide receiver, could probably do better quarterbacking than a college QB. You know what I'm saying? Just because he's the better, you know, like you take the better athlete, or like the backup guy. We're like, oh no, he was a quarterback in high school. He's a water boy now. Like,
but the nuance of the keeper though is way different, man.
And apparently
I can't even do I can't even if I put
the way
the pads
you stand on
I couldn't
skates
stand that way.
And the way you move your legs is so specialized, like especially dropping your knees down and blocking shots, that the amateur is better than any of the pros that play other positions, and that's weird to me.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like you would think that they would at least know how to do it just from playing their entire lives and being around hockey. Like you know, how many times have you talked to the goalie and just learned from him like over the years? And no, still better. The Zamboni driver goalie that plays amateur hockey league on the weekends is better at goalie than any of the guys on the team.
That's why I love our seats, the 118 section, and you go right down to the glass because you're right behind, but you're on an angle of the actual goal. And you can see all the tiny nuance of like, you can see like the keeper realize that there's a gap below him. So he angles his pads lower to cover the gap. You can see him like kick a leg out. You can see like when he doesn't want to grab the puck and stop play, but he knows he has to. Like, it's crazy like how much more you understand the game, I think, by going and sitting on the glass. And then the last game on Thanksgiving was the first time I'd done it.
Yeah.
And man, I got the lightning and I got crazy fire and I was banging on the glass like screaming. It was so fun.
You guys should plan a game in Tampa too sometime. You guys ever
never been to an NHL game? Gonna work my way up to it after the Solar Bear season.
I watched. I think weren't you there when that time we saw the Lightning play an exhibition game at the Amway? We were there with Justin Clark.
I don't remember being there, man.
Maybe I just went with them because I remember watching the Lightning play, but it was an exhibition game,
right?
You know. So anyway, what else you got, Josh?
I was going to mention with the goaltending thing too. When it comes to being a hockey parent, if your kid doesn't become a goaltender, you dodge a huge bullet because the cost is unbelievable. One of my nephews was a goaltender, and he played from minor hockey right up to AAA. And man, oh man, is it expensive. Like, hockey's expensive to begin with. It's like you're looking at $500 in gear right off the bat, $600 registration fee, then like $600 travel fee. So you're in the hole like $2,000 and then you can double that for goalie equipment
The
too.
skates are $1,200
Yeah.
for good skates,
Yeah.
and they only last
Yeah.
a year and a half or 2 years or something like that. Then you have to buy new metal. I heard all this. Like
you got to do all the upkeep on them.
the sticks are $600, and they break all the time.
Yeah, they'll pay $600 for a stick. It's weird composite. Back in my day, old man moment. If you want to hit the button.
Oh yeah.
In my day,
There we go.
In my day, the sticks were made of wood. And so,
They were
Well,
carbon
good job,
fiber.
hockey. This is why Tyreek Hill is not a hockey player.
Yeah.
Because
They price kids out of it. You're right.
And
We've heard that from just about every soccer player.
Could you
that came
imagine
through.
how fast Tyreek Hill could skate? Like if it was cheaper and there was not the barrier to entry.
I mean, and some of your larger, because I love seeing these hockey players that are behemoths, like they're massive defensive men, but when you watch them skate, you're like, holy crap, you're so elegant, like you're so
fast,
you're so fast, and you're so it's so quick, your fast twitch movement's just unbelievable. How do you even do that?
It would take you longer than 2 weeks, Tom.
So to see somebody like, you're right, to see somebody like, I'm trying to think of somebody like an Aaron Darnold or something like that play.
Oh yeah. Imagine if Aaron Donald hit you on the ice.
Oh my God!
Full speed.
But it would be awesome to see him
annihilate you.
Oh, it'd be so great.
So, Josh, I think I asked you this dumb question before, but I asked
There are
my
no dumb
hockey buddy, and he didn't know really if there was a rule about it, but there's got to be. So I started thinking about the goalie position and stuff, and I was like, what if?
Oh, is this your big fat goalie question?
I've asked this a lot of my
This comes
career.
up at parties when he gets drunk.
I'm like, could you get the biggest, fattest human that somehow learned
Is
to
the
skate?
exact shape of the goal.
Well, I'm just saying there are certain humans out there
Oh,
that
man.
if you put them in hockey gear and goalie gear, right, and then
Our old intern Chungus.
bigger than that. Like I'm saying,
okay, you're talking like 5 hundo?
No, but
Like-
Chungus
like a
in
big
pads,
Tim?
dude. Chungus in pads.
are
you
Big
crazy?
Tim would be good, yeah.
Not anymore.
But-
He's lost like 150 pounds.
Still big.
but
He is, but not as big as you want.
Tim at his biggest, but taller than Big Tim. We're talking about NFL lineman style.
What about that guy Big LA that rolls with Busey, who puts the AK under his gut flap?
Well,
and
you need an athlete.
He loves the
I'm talking
insane clown posse.
Imagine if you taught Vince Wilfork how to skate, a lineman for New England.
Yeah.
The guy is. Sam, look up Vince Wilfork.
big man.
His stats, because how tall he is, and how big he is.
So you're talking like a 300-pounder that can move the weight, plus
Yeah.
put the gear on. And you're
And-
thinking just real estate alone.
Yes, and
Just
then what you do is you train him to just puff himself up and then get into
Yeah,
a position
get as big as you can.
and just sit in front of the goalie and
and take shots into your face, into your groin, into your gunt.
And he will
Never move.
Never move, but cover 100% of the goalie. Right?
Never give him a shot.
Now, when I bring this up drunk at parties, I'll get some guys in
support this.
hockey, and then I'm like, no, you don't understand. Real good hockey players, even if there's a male slot opening above his shoulders, hockey players can fit it in there, so they need to be able to move.
Not fat enough.
But I'm like,
6'2", 325, by the way.
Okay.
Too small. He's too small. We need 6'6".
So yeah, once they get accurate though with the shots, if there's any daylight, and you're
No, I'm
assuming this
saying
dude's
no
not going to
daylight.
move at all.
No, he's going to be so fat and puffy, he's going to just put his ass into the goal.
Yeah, he just sits there and then puffs himself up, and with how big he is, and then the pads and everything, it covers, so they cannot penetrate. There's no, and if there is any holes, a puck won't fit through.
Unpenetrable Chungus.
The problem is then when they skate around him, they knock him over, and then he can't get back up, and they're
The
scoring.
goal gets pushed. They're sorry. We're going to do
no reaction.
But I've seen this before where there's a scrum in front of the goal, and then they're pushing and shoving each other around, and the goalie will get pushed.
Yeah.
And if
they
you're-
don't like that.
But
Don't push our goalie. I'll beat you up.
But all goalies are athletic, so it doesn't bother them. But my big fat Chungus, he'll just get pushed over because he doesn't know how to skate because he grew up in the inner city and he's just sitting.
He's like, I ain't never had a real bed before.
And then once he gets knocked over, then it's wide open.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
it's score crazy. But then you set him back up.
Oh, but it's sad because it's like, score. He's still rolling. He still can't get up.
Anyway.
And then the other guys are trying to get him up, but they're too light.
I have seen pictures before where they show a comparison from your goalies in the 60s and 70s compared to goalies now, And again, just the real estate they take up in front of the net is unbelievable. So goalies are huge now. Like, again, back in my day, the little guy was always the goaltender. But goaltenders are 6'4", 6'5". Like
little guy. Why would you put me in goal? I don't cover nothing.
In my day, Dan, at our day, we're the same age.
Yeah.
You 100% be a goaltender.
I don't want to be a goaltender. I want to be a fast forward.
But they're huge
and start
now.
Fights.
Yeah, and the gear's bigger too. Like the gear back in the day, it was like these little leather pads. Like my father-in-law used to play goaltender, no helmet, no mask.
Wow.
Like just
right
frozen
to the jaw.
rubber pucks coming at you, minimal gear. Yeah,
I've also thought about the same thing when it comes to blocking field goals. So
you want to have the fattest people come out there?
Not the fattest. The tallest, someone
freak of nature.
Someone that has their glands or something. There's some sort of cancer in their glands.
People with cancer glands.
And then they're like 8'3", and they're gross.
A bunch of those.
You're like, oh my
God. A bunch of Ripleys out here.
Yeah. You get one Ripley, they get a little hunchy, but
we need a hunchy Ripley.
But you put him in a Dolphins uniform.
12 hunchy Ripleys.
But all he does, and one roster spot, is he goes out there and tries to block, and he just stands up and puts his big, a scary tree.
You shall not pass.
And he just puts his hands up and he tries to block field goals, because I feel like if you put him right in the middle,
Ripley.
He could stand up and have a good, you couldn't kick over.
So you want 12
George
Marathons?
Well, not 12. You couldn't take out that many roster spots. There'd just be one specialized Ripley that
but what if you put him in the wrong spot?
Well, you put them in the middle because they're all kicking relatively through the middle. I don't know how much. I think
get your hands up there, Ripley.
Yeah, he just stands up. Because if you're 8 something, right, you could put your hands 10 feet in the air. Although I guess a really athletic
how high
guy
doesn't have to be really to block a kick. What do you? Because they do get them once in a while.
I will try and stop it.
I guess basically most of these guys can dunk and are NBA basketball size.
But then when they
can jump 10 feet tall. So the Ripley's can only can't jump at all.
The problem is they dunk the ball, but then they're Giants' laughter it's very. I don't know. There's nothing more terrifying than if the Ripley blocked the shot, and then he'd be like. Then that's an hour later. You got to stop.
It would just be more entertaining because you'd be like, "Oh my God, he can barely walk because they got back problems and their bones are stretched out."
Oh, he's on the cart. Oh, he's on 2 carts. There he goes.
If they get knocked over, they're done.
They break their leg, and then you got to shoot them on the field. They put the horse tent around there. Oh, that's gonna. They stop the game. Quick, get the cheerleaders out. They do a dance. We got to put this guy down. We got to put this Ripley down.
Oh no!
How do you kill him? You got a big pillow. Hold his legs down.
Oh, an injection. All right.
Speaking of,
welcome back to A Corporate Time.
Let's do some voicemail. We got our friend Ken Miller. He's going to hang out on the couch while we do some voicemail.
It's always nice to have a different perspective with some of our voicemails.
I'm not drunk. I'm tipsy.
No, he's fine. He's fine.
Go see Ken and Carmen Morales at the Improv December 22nd, December 23rd. Get your tickets at theimprovorlando.com. Yep. And some of the best local comedians.
2 of the best to do it, baby.
Ever come out of Florida. So go check them out.
Yeah, go see them. Snatch up those tickets, sell it out, and make it crazy. Here we go. Voicemails.
Hey, guys. As the World Cup comes to an end here, France locked up its final position today and will face Argentina. One thing I've been watching throughout the World Cup that I do not understand, and no other sport does this, football has proper benches, hockey has proper benches, baseball has a proper dugout. Why do soccer players sit in what appears to be seats that were ripped from a Porsche 911 or a McLaren? Why can't they sit on a proper bench like every other athlete? They have to sit in these nicely little snug, exotic car seats. What is the story behind that? What's the deal with that? It's not even like they're sponsored. They're just blank colored car seats, and they're all sitting in them. And I just don't understand why soccer went that route. It's
sponsored.
Cool looking, but I just don't understand it. It's just crazy.
Orlando City has them too. They're sponsored. I think it's cool.
It's tea and crumpets.
Yeah, it's better than a damn. Well, yeah, there's some
tea and crumpets, man. It's
football or soccer has always been a little more proper when they come together as a team to like an event. They all wear the same blazer with like a crest on it. I like the leather seat. Who wouldn't want to sit in that a Ferrari seat? Like I think think they should have that at NBA games. All the NBA guys should be sitting in nice ass seats.
No,
I think all football players should be sitting in nice ass seats.
Not NBA. Now, if white people saw privileged black guys sitting in them seats, they'll lose their mind.
Okay, that's true. I never thought about that. They already probably have a problem with the brown people playing soccer sitting in them.
I like the. I'm cool with them seats, but like I like the NFL. They just sitting in the bleachers. Like the players just sitting on like bench seats.
Like a plastic bench.
It's like a hunk of crap. It looks like we're the xylophone player of the band stands.
Although I did.
When you're in the pit in band, you have to stay on the sideline. You don't get the march, but you stay on the stinky sidelines. You're playing marimba and xylophone, and nobody cares about you.
It is odd that they don't give like the NFL players nicer seats, and then it's just the bench.
And it's not even cushioned.
No,
not even a cushion.
But that's because that's football. Football is gritty, grimy. You can't have a little Porsche seat at football. You got to have something. You got to have the seat at the cookout, like one of them cookout seats.
Like a folding.
Yeah, like a folding chair.
Like a sports chair.
Although there is a PVC pipe for you that's a heater for you to put your helmet on.
No, you got to have a church pew.
Well, you know what I don't think is fair? You know what I don't think is fair for football? And this is a bit of a hot take, and I'm glad Ken's here because he's a sportsman. I don't think it's fair that you big fat chunguses that play football are allowed to have oxygen on the sideline. I think you should have to sit there and huff it and puff it like everybody else, and if you pass out and fall out, then you fall out. You weren't conditioned good enough, fatto.
And why you need it's you outside. It's oxygen right there, bro.
Isn't that cheating? Isn't it kind of cheating? If you're literally
you recover faster.
If you are hooking yourself up to an oxygen machine, you are stopping yourself from passing out. You big fat chungus, and I don't think that's fair.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
It's not fair.
They always do that move where, like, let's say the kick returner like runs it back 99 yards, and then you'll see him on the sidelines huffing and puffing the oxygen, and then it's like, do you really need the oxygen? Like, because you are in the best shape of all.
You're a super athlete.
But I guess it does make you catch your breath faster. So,
but I think it would be funny if the guy got on the sidelines, they didn't have that, and he was like, and then he crinkle fingered, and then he did he did the Tua,
the Tua,
yeah, he calls it the crinkle finger. Looked like French fries at Sonny's barbecue.
Nah, he was throwing up gang signs. He a crip, Tua a crip, bro. I knew it.
Let's play. All right.
Let's do an email. Let's do an email. All right, sir.
So yesterday, I believe we were talking about hostage tape.
Do you know what hostage tape is?
Oh no, I like hostages.
It's a new way of sleeping. You put hostage tape on your mouth. It forces you.
Should have a better name for it.
No, I think they like the controversy. I think they like that. And you put it's called hostage tape brand, TM, and you slap it on your mouth, and it forces you to breathe through your nose, which apparently oxygenates your lungs more efficially. I think I'm saying that correctly.
And supposedly could help with snoring.
Yes.
Very Anglo-Saxon.
So this email says, although I think it's ridiculous that someone would tape over their mouth to sleep, I myself use a chin strap to keep my mouth shut. I have sleep apnea and I use a CPAP machine.
Chin strap.
If my mouth opens up at night, the machine will pump air through my nose and out my mouth, causing my throat, tongue, and gums to completely dry out. The chin strap prevents that from happening and is better than taping your mouth closed. Also, as a public service announcement, if you have sleep apnea, get it checked out. My apnea went untreated for too long and it gave me atrial fibrillation, for which I had to have heart surgery when I was 48 years old.
Apnea.
Well, first of all, we can't do the tape because we got beards and rip all your hair.
No. It's made for this particular one. That's a problem in the bodybuilding community. This is real big in the vascular fitness, whatever. There's, the meatheads.
Yeah.
So they make this hostage tape. One of their big taglines is that it's beard
friendly.
Yeah, beard friendly.
Yeah.
That they've thought of everything. This damn hostage tape. It's hard for me not to buy hostage tape and put it on me and be like, this is my new fitness regimen.
Now I want to try it.
I do too.
Try it now.
You just tape your mouth.
If someone, I've never had my mouth really taped, but I put.
Let's try. Let's try. Sam, get the tape.
But
right.
I feel
Amazon?
like when I was a kid, we messed around with
you put scotch tape on your lips.
But not even scotch tape.
And you pretend to
duct
kiss,
tape.
like I'm kissing a girl.
But you could open your mouth and force it open, and then there's a little gap, and then I feel like you could talk through. You right?
But if you're sleeping though, I don't think you're gonna do.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, you're gonna be sleeping.
You're relaxing.
I'm a mouth sleeper, so my wife would tell you my mouth wide open, drooling everywhere.
Really?
Yeah,
You
drooling
snore?
everywhere. When I fall asleep drunk,
I think everybody does.
Yeah.
If I fall asleep drunk, I'm snoring.
No drinking, no snoring here.
No snoring.
But if I have one beer,
yeah.
because it closes. I think I'm allergic to alcohol. because every time I drink it, I kick the dog.
There's a weird allergy.
It is. It's a weird response. It's my histamines are odd.
Daniel Dennis, also Michael Vick.
Yeah, I got one here. All right, here we go.
Hey, everybody.
No, we did that one. It's this one. Sorry. That was the guy that...
I'm walking my dog, and it poops on the side of the road, and I fight past the intrusive thought to wipe it on someone's neat door handle.
This is the same guy he called back about the door handle.
Okay.
So we have a lister that every...
Jeffrey Dahmer.
It does a little...
Well, when you find out what he does.
Yeah.
Or it's intrusive thoughts.
Pick it up, put it in a bag, and put it in your trash can that you leave on the road. I find that better than if I just left it in your front yard. This is the other option.
So his argument is he's saying if I'm gonna pick up my dog, and if I'm gonna have to fight the intrusive thought of wanting to wipe it on your door, which I don't know.
Why are you thinking that?
Why are you thinking that?
And then he's saying if I tie it off and I put it in your trash, that you should be happy that I did that instead of that I left it.
No.
And I will agree with that.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I don't put it in my trash. I don't care.
When I leave my trash out after the trash, people pick it up. Dude, I've walked out. It's been mad. McDonald's bags, baby, everything's in it. So I'm just, if you throw it in there, as long as it's not in my yard, because if anybody knows me, if you follow me on social media, know my yard is the best yard in my neighborhood. So don't leave no.
Did you know he's a plant man?
Oh,
Do you mind if children run through your grass?
Oh, yeah, I don't mind you running. That's
No.
how dope my yard
What
is.
if my kid? What if you were out there and you're
Doing
looking
grass angels.
and you got yourself this is back in the Crown Apple days, and maybe you got a crown and a cigar, and you're walking around, you're surveying your kingdom, and then here come these two little. They look like pilgrims, like bright yellow, beautiful Swedish children come running, and then they lay in your grass and start doing grass angels. Are you going to be mad about that, or is that okay?
Are they white?
They're white.
Oh yeah, they
beautiful
cool.
little Swedish
children.
They
cool.
Yeah.
That's not gonna hurt
They look like
no, they cool because I don't need white police in a poplar to come out with a bullet in my ass.
Because I will call them.
This is my grass too.
My sons are playing in this man's yard, and he yelled at them aggressively.
Now, if they're black
and they were scared for their lives.
Now, if they're black kids, they can come in the house and get something to eat.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
That's really seasoned up food.
Okay, let's talk
bland ass.
How nice is your grass, Ken? Let's talk grass.
Yeah, this guy's a plant man.
Let me tell you something, man. Because of my HOA, I got getting letters, so I've spent $900 on grass.
Oh my God!
And I take care of it. I have the best yard. Like my neighbors walk by, they be like, "Yo, you have a beautiful lawn." I said, "I know." I take care of. Now the last 2 weeks I've been neglecting because I've been on the road and everything.
Yeah.
But
what do you got, St. Augustine?
No, Bahia.
Oh,
because I have a bunch of trees.
Okay.
So St. Augustine.
He has a bunch of trees.
Yeah, you got that Bahia best for that because the tree I don't get sun, but so it keeps living, surviving, and everything.
Why don't you use Bahia? You just use, I don't know, rat grass. I don't even know what it is. Crabgrass.
Some people say Bahia is like turnpike grass. I don't know.
No, it is. It's legit. It is.
Self-seeds.
It is. And that's why, because I have the trees, and so I don't have any sun, and so a lot of that, it'll die if it was St. Augustine. But with the Bahia, it lives forever because of the trees. That's why they do that in the highway, because you ain't got to take care of it.
So you're just saying that you would rather it be dead, high quality grass.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm figuring out what he's. You have to factor in what people think. Tom would rather have the expensive grass be on his yard and be dead than have the less expensive grass be thriving.
No, I have shade tolerant St. Augustine Seville.
Shade tolerant.
It's a hybrid. It's the Seville hybrid.
That's that Yellowstone grass.
I got it from a guy who likes Yellowstone and Duda Farms.
Duda Farms.
No, Duda. And it's the best St. Augustine.
Have yourself some Duda Farm Yellowstone. What the hell are you talking about?
Do you fertilize?
Yes, no seed.
Oh, okay.
Scott seed. They have a southern seed. I seed every 3 months. I seed every 3 months.
Okay. So you seed?
Yeah, no. Well, I hired a company. I just throw money at it.
Who do you got?
Or some BDM owned.
You got the Dr. Robert. Who's the guy? I've seen the guy.
And you told me I wasn't making no money. He got a whole company. I can do mine myself.
I thought you did yours yourself. This is. I feel like Sam. I feel like we've been sold a lie.
No, I
thought you were the plant dad.
No, this plant grass is the smallest plant. I don't know if you do that.
No, my yard is the goat in my neighborhood.
You got any like intricate shrubberies?
I got some bushes that I trim up and everything, and then my wife has plants in front of the door. But now my grass is that's my man. But before it was, I have a picture of David Jolly, laying in my grass when I didn't have any grass. Yeah.
Hold on, what is he laying in the grass for?
Because we got drunk that night, and Jolly laid in the grass.
That's what he does. He's a grass layer.
I could have guessed that.
Yeah.
That was the easiest guess.
And then my HOA sent me a picture of Jolly in the grass, and it's dead. Like, you need some new grass, and no more black people in our neighborhood.
We don't like this.
Yeah, that's why I'm running for HOA president.
Are you really?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that either.
I'm running for mayor instead.
All right, do it. All right.
On the Herschel Walker campaign.
You want to do another voicemail?
Mayor Popka?
Or voicemail or email? Where are we at?
We can do either one.
Let's do email.
All right, quickly. Bacteria in water bottles. I'm a food scientist and microbiologist here to weigh in on the cleaning of water bottles discussion.
Yes.
I've worked in food manufacturing for over a decade. I'm not a doctor, but there's no risk to not rinsing or cleaning your kids' water bottles. As long as they keep just water in there and do not share their bottles and others, they should be good. Cycling through the water regularly will assist with preventing growth or buildup, but it takes weeks for mold and other microbes to grow in water due to the lack of food. Attached is a peer-reviewed paper that kind of goes into this. Also, Dan, all mildews are molds, but not all molds are mildews.
There you go.
I don't agree.
I don't either.
I don't agree. I don't agree.
There's lots of people that don't agree with the truth.
I've seen them over the past couple of years.
I bet you money. I bet you money he don't wash his chicken.
I don't wash
the chicken.
No.
I don't wash the chicken.
Oh my God.
Hell no.
What are you washing?
Black people kill you.
The skin.
Yo, you gotta wash the chicken. All that bacteria. Yo, go to any video.
I'm cooking it off.
Go to any video of somebody cooking.
I don't cook chicken. I don't wash chicken.
And read the comments. If you don't wash your meat, black people will kill you in the comments.
But like pork, you're not supposed to wash pork.
Hey,
you
man,
just dab it with a paper towel and dry it off.
Hey, look here, Dan. I was told by my mama to wash my meat.
I would never challenge a mama.
I wash my meat. Black people wash their meat. So don't listen to this guy. Clean them water bottles.
Well, that's not me. Like I have. This is going to be shocking to Sam, but I don't think I've ever washed one water bottle that I've had in 46 years. I don't think I've ever.
And that's why you're not grown.
Like a Gatorade. Oh my God! Like
you would probably be 6. You would probably be 6'5" right now. If you wash
chicken. But a Gatorade bottle. Like I had soccer bottles. I've had all my Peloton bottles that I've used on my Peloton. Not water. I fill it up with water. I put the top on it. I drink the water. That's it. There's no. I don't rinse it out. I don't wash it out.
Yep,
I put water in it.
That's
and
why
drink
you're
the
not
water.
Growing, bro. You got to wash the bottles.
I don't think this is a thing, man. I think we have been convinced to do this by soap companies.
It's in the Bible, bro. Read Leviticus. Wash your water bottles.
Now,
Leviticus 3:23.
There's two funny things about this. One is I read this guy's email, and then now I 100% believe what I thought before without reading the peer review.
I read that.
Confirmation bias, yes.
No, I read the peer review. I read it.
I clicked it open, and I was like, I know
it was
what
good. It had pictures.
And then I thought about sending this to Crystal, which then I
never mind all the articles I read that said the opposite. It's fine.
Don't do that.
I read my own articles.
You were reading Newsmax.
Those are your articles. I got my articles. We all got our own articles.
I would trust this guy's article more than I would trust an article you find on the web. This guy's in the field. He's saying he does this, and he's like, hey, guys, the truth is you don't need to wash your water bottles, and here's the proof. And then everybody here is like, nah.
Well, that's the world. The world doesn't care about
like that. I just look at him like, oh, well, this scientist says it's good. I'll go with that.
But then I got my scientists. They say no go. It doesn't matter.
We got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Well, go see Ken and Carmen Morales on December 22nd, 23rd. They'll be at the Improv, theimprovorlando.com. Ken, thanks for sticking around.
Thanks y'all for having me, man. Y'all got me drunk,
man.
and I'm about to get into school right along.
Yeah, just don't talk. Just thumbs up, nod. That's what I do.
We'll wear that tape over my mouth so they can't smell the alcohol.
We will see you next week.